Chapter 1273. At the border of the Yaoguang and Hongluan star fields, the first round of the king debate was about to begin. Between the two realms, 6 small worlds kept spinning. Water, fire, wind, lightning, light, and darkness. The 6 different elemental worlds turned into a cycle, unpredictable and unpredictable. The Night Lord and Garuda entered the game. Light flickered, and in the blink of an eye, the two appeared in the small worlds. Wind field. In the primordial demon realm camp, Xian Qi's eyes narrowed. His luck wasn't bad. It all depended on whether Garuda could seize the opportunity. This isn't good. In the human camp, the king's expressions changed slightly, and their hearts sank. Garuda was the incarnation of a golden rock. His speed was already amazing, and now with the wind, he would undoubtedly be more difficult to deal with. With the start being unfavorable, the hearts of the human kings grew heavier. They looked at the battle that was about to begin, not daring to be distracted for even a moment. Ji Ming, what are the odds of Yi Zhu winning this battle? Xia Zi asked from the side. 100%. Ningchen looked ahead and said calmly. In the wind field, the wind howled, rolling sand into waves. The sand was like a waterfall, shocking the heavens and the earth. In the first round of the battle of the two realms, the human race had already lost 30% of the advantage before the battle even began. Night Lord, is it? It's your misfortune to have met me. Garuda sneered. He clenched his right hand, and the demon halberd appeared out of nowhere. As soon as the demon halberd appeared, the demon halberd swept across the world. The battle began, and the sky changed color. The same thing I want to say to you, the Night Lord said lightly. He opened his hands, and instantly, the wind and clouds in the sky turned chaotic. Black chi continued to spread, filling the entire wind field. The master of the top pavilion in the world once again had shocking cultivation. This is... In the primordial demon camp, Luo Jia said seriously, half-step imperial path. It seems that Garuda has met a very strong opponent. Not far away, Azura spoke slowly. It's not that Garuda has no chance of winning. Let's see if he can use this advantage well, Xianqi said lightly. In the wind realm, 2 divine weapons appeared, and a great battle began. In an instant, 2 beams of light shot forth, colliding with each other. The demonic chi and the dark force collided. Garuda's figure retreated several feet in the gale. The wings on his back opened, and with the help of the wind, his figure disappeared instantly. His speed was extremely fast, infinitely approaching the speed of heaven and earth. In the blink of an eye, the killing intent was already behind him. The killing move arrived in an instant. The demon halberd pierced through the air, and killing intent filled the sky. The Night Patriarch snorted coldly and gathered the power of darkness in his hand. A black halberd spun rapidly and blocked the demon halberd behind him. The 2 halberds clashed, and a powerful shockwave shook the area. Night Master gripped his halberd and turned around. He pushed his halberd forward again, forcing his opponent to retreat. 100 feet away, Garuda steadied himself. Taking advantage of the momentum, he took a step forward, flapped his wings, and flew in the wind. With his extreme speed, Garuda's figure was like lightning. He waved his demonic halberd with enough power to sink a mountain. The Night Patriarch snorted coldly. His black divine halberd met the attack head-on. His dark elemental energy surged like raging waves. He was half a step away from the imperial path. The master of the world's #1 pavilion displayed shocking abilities. The Cloud Dragon divine halberd was unstoppable. In the small world, the unshakable Night Patriarch was at an absolute disadvantage. With his shocking cultivation, he was still able to suppress Garuda. Outside the battle, the kings of the primordial demon realm and the human race all looked at the shocking battle with solemn expressions. Garuda is at a disadvantage? Xian Lai frowned and said. In such a great situation, he was still suppressed. This was a disgrace to the heavenly demon race. That Night Patriarch isn't any weaker than us. It's not strange that Garuda is at a disadvantage, Xianqi said calmly. Garuda is still holding back. Let's continue watching, Azura said, looking at the battle ahead. The kings of the demonic realm nodded. They calmed down and continued to watch the battle. In the Wind Realm, the battle between the two became more and more intense. In the wild wind, Garuda's figure moved faster and faster. The demon halberd was like lightning, constantly trying to break through the darkness around the Night Patriarch. Boom! After 100 moves, the demon halberd broke the sea. The darkness around the Night Patriarch rose rapidly. The cloud dragon divine halberd rose into the sky and met the demon halberd head-on. The next moment, a loud rumble resounded throughout the Wind Realm. The aftershock roared, and the wild wind around them instantly stopped. In that instant, the Night Patriarch's eyes flashed. He turned his palm and poured in more darkness. Sky-breaking halberd. He stepped forward and his figure flashed out. The Night Patriarch held the halberd with both hands and gathered the darkness of the 9 heavens and the extreme essence of the 8 barren lands. The sky-breaking halberd broke the sky. Above the 9 heavens, the black halberd sliced open the void. A huge black crack appeared and quickly spread thousands of miles away. Below, Garuda's pupils constricted. He didn't dare to hold back anymore. With a shout, a huge golden rock phantom appeared behind him. With the support of the phenomenon, his cultivation reached the peak again. The next moment, the 2 divine weapons clashed. Endless darkness devoured the sky and earth, suppressing the golden rock demon king's ability. Arg! There was a heavy groan. The aftershock roared past. Garuda flew out and crashed into a distant mountain. Rocks flew everywhere and fell like rain. It was a shocking scene. The unshakable Night Patriarch used his absolute strength to suppress Garuda. The battle had finally come to an end. The outcome was about to be decided. In the void, the Night Patriarch descended from the sky and walked toward the distant mountain. In the collapsed mountain, Garuda coughed out blood. His miserable appearance made people sigh. The difference is too big. The outcome is already decided. In the primordial demon realm camp, Xian Qi said lightly, "It's a pity. However, we didn't have much hope for him." "Prepare for the next battle," Xian Lai said calmly. "Garuda, stand up. As a member of the 8, even if you lose, you must lose with dignity." Not far away, Azura's expression darkened as he shouted sternly. In the Wind Realm, Azura's voice came from the collapsed mountain. Garuda coughed out another mouthful of blood. A strange light flashed in his eyes. He didn't care about the glory of the 8, but he wasn't willing. He wasn't willing to lose like this. Gradually, his mind went crazy. He kept attacking the heart meridians of the demons. Demonic chi surged around Garuda, bringing with it a waterfall of blood. Forced into a desperate situation, Garuda's meridians went against the flow. His cultivation rose rapidly. Terrifying demonic chi pierced through the sky and shook the stars. Fighting with your life? In front, the Night Patriarch watched this scene calmly. His expression didn't change at all. A moment later, an earth-shattering roar sounded. Garuda's form changed. Half of his body turned into a beast, and golden pung feathers grew out of his body. The signs of atavism shocked everyone present. The kings of the primordial demon realm and the human race were all shocked. No one had expected such a change. In the camp of the primordial demon realm, several peerless experts of the royal family watched the battle with anticipation in their eyes. Perhaps Garuda would really give them a surprise. In the Wind Realm, Garuda turned into his half-beast form. The wings on his back flapped. He held his demon halberd and roared continuously. Atavism is just closer to the instincts of a beast. It's difficult to defeat me with this. In front, the Night Patriarch said emotionlessly. The cloud dragon divine halberd in his hand activated more by. Black chi spread out like a swamp, locking down the sky and earth. There was another earth-shattering roar. In front of the mountain, Garuda moved. He reached the Night Patriarch at an even more terrifying speed. The halberd swung down from the sky. It carried the power to split open the sky and smash toward the Night Patriarch. Beast. No matter how strong you are, you're still a beast. Stupid and ignorant. 3 steps forward, the Night Patriarch raised his hand and grabbed the halberd. The black bile dissolved the attack and dissipated the remaining force. Close at hand, the cloud dragon divine halberd in the Night Patriarch's hand raised into the sky. Instantly, wind howled and thunder roared. The by power shook the sky. As the halberd slashed down, bloody feathers filled the sky. Garuda groaned in pain as one of his wings was cut off. Humans aren't food for the 100 races. It's time to repay the blood debt that the 100 races have owed us. With that, the Night Patriarch swung his halberd again. Garuda's other wing was also cut off. Blood spurted out, dyeing the sky red. Garuda roared in pain. His eyes were scarlet and his beast form was shocking. Do you know the difference between humans and beasts? The Night Patriarch raised his hand. By power spread out and locked the former's body. He said lightly, humans have humanity. So, my torture of you ends here. With that, the Night Patriarch clenched his left hand. Instantly, violent by power surged into Garuda's body and destroyed his martial veins. The battle ended. Garuda's broken body fell from the sky and smashed into the ground. After a few breaths, golden light shone in the wind realm. The sovereigns of the two races attacked and sent the two out of the battle. The Battle of Halberd, the humans win. A majestic voice sounded in the sky. It echoed in the star space and also entered the hearts of everyone present. What a disappointing battle. Xianlai glanced at the unconscious Garuda and said lightly, Azura, it's time for the 8 to reorganize. Prince, you don't have to worry about the internal affairs of the 8, Azura said calmly. In the human camp, the Night Patriarch returned. The human kings looked at the master of the number 1 pavilion and congratulated him. The Night Patriarch responded to them one by one with a smile. He looked at the black-clothed young man who was deep in thought and said, Jiming Marquis, fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. Ningchen came back to his senses and nodded. Night Patriarch, you've worked hard. Next, please rest here and watch the other 4 battles. The Night Patriarch nodded and walked to the side to focus on regulating his breath. In the battle between the two realms, the humans had won the first round. It was an unexpected result. In the primordial demon camp, the supreme demon powerhouses did not panic at all. Their faces were cold and calm. They were so calm that it was hair-raising. They were absolutely confident in their strength, so the demon kings were not worried about the outcome of the battle at all. Now, representatives of the two realms, please draw the second round's martial arts category. The majestic voice sounded again. Then Qing Ning and the Dark Moon Witch Empress flew into the sky and pressed their hands on the wheel at the same time. In an instant, the wheel shone with golden light. As the words changed, the second round's category appeared in front of everyone. A simple word caused waves in the hearts of the kings of the two realms. Chapter 1274. In the starry sky, the word, sword, appeared, indicating that the second battle was about to begin. In the primordial demon realm camp, the kings looked at the man in front of them. After the defeat, they calmed down again. They were relieved that he would be the one to fight in this battle. Fourth brother, I'll leave it to you, Xianlai said. Okay. Xianqi nodded and walked forward. In the human camp, the battle of the sword was about to begin. The kings of the human race all looked serious. They knew that Xianqi was almost invincible under the imperial plane. This battle would be extremely difficult. Zi, you must be careful, Luo Fei said. Luo Fei said, a worried look on her face. Okay. Xia Zi nodded and walked forward as well. In the center of the camp, the 6 small worlds kept rotating. The 6 paths of reincarnation created by the kings were almost comparable to a real world. After a few breaths, 2 figures walked out of the small worlds of fire. Similarly, powerful demonic qi shook the heavens and the earth. World of fire. In the human camp, Ningchen looked at the small worlds of the 2 figures. His expression froze. A draw wasn't bad, but it wasn't a good result either. Xianqi's cultivation and sword skills were at the peak of the human world. He was flawless. Zi's chances of winning were very small. In the world of fire, demonic qi surged. Sky demons and human demons appeared. Demonic qi rushed out, changing the color of the sky. Human demon, I admire you for being able to cultivate to such a level. Xianqi said calmly. Then he clenched his right hand and demonic flames swept out. The heart-burning demonic sword appeared, shaking the heavens and the earth. The moment the sword was unsheathed, demonic flames rushed into the sky. "I deserve your praise," Xia Zi said indifferently. On the other side, Xia Zi responded indifferently and waved his right hand. Amidst the waves of fire that filled the sky, the madness of doomsday appeared. The shocking demonic weapon changed shape. It was 6 feet long and shone with a cold light. 2 demonic swords, 2 demonic cultivators. With their swords drawn, their figures flashed. Boom! In the first exchange, the heart-burning demonic sword and the mad doomsday clashed. Terrifying demonic waves swept out, destroying the surrounding landscape. "Not bad," Xianqi praised. The demonic sword in his hand turned, and demonic flames swept out. "It's too early to be surprised." 10 steps away, Xia Zi gathered his vital energy and absorbed it. His demonic aura soared to the extreme, and the boundless demonic aura stirred. His power became more and more astonishing. In the primal demon realm camp, the various demon realm kings looked at the battle as a strange light flashed in their eyes. This human demon cultivator was no ordinary person. Such pure fiendish aura was something even ordinary royal sky fiends could not compare to. In the battle, the 2 devil cultivators on the sword activated their devil chi at the same time. Devil chi billowed and the devil chi was shocking. Sword chi and demonic chi fused into one. Around the 2 of them, sword light crisscrossed, sharp and bone-piercing. "Go!" The 2 of them shouted at the same time. Tens of millions of sword lights broke through the air and swept forward. In the next moment, within the world of fire, sword radiance clashed. Tens of thousands of swords were destroyed, and the remaining energy surged, splitting the heavens and splitting the seas. After several breaths of time, the shock waves dissipated. It was hard to tell who was winning or losing. To everyone's shock, the human swordsman was actually evenly matched with the demon race's #1 swordsman. He wasn't at a disadvantage at all. In the human camp, Mu Qianshang and Yi Xuanmiao looked at the battle before them. Their hearts were in turmoil. As swordsmen, they could clearly feel the strength of the 2 demons in the battle. If it had been an ordinary king realm expert, he would have definitely been defeated in the previous clash. In front of the kings, Ning Chen quietly watched the battle. He didn't look too surprised. The first prince of the great Xia dynasty had amazing talent. If he hadn't interfered back then, Xia Zi would have been the first person of the divine Great Land's younger generation to enter the Xiantian realm. After more than 100 years, the kind-hearted prince of the great Xia dynasty had changed a lot. However, his low-key and inexpressive personality had never changed much. In terms of strength, Zi was definitely ranked in the top 3 or even higher among the kings of the human race. However, Zi's opponent was also an expert at the peak of the primal demon realm. No matter in which aspect, there were almost no flaws. It wouldn't be easy to win this battle. In the battle, round after round of clashes, the fighting spirit of the 2 demons continued to rise. Sword chi circled around them, shocking the world. The sword was so dazzling. Sword Dao at this level was rarely seen. Sky-burning demonic flame. After several rounds of clashes, the battle separated again. Xia Zi flipped his palm, and demonic flames swept out, rolling out. Demonic flame prairie. On the opposite side, Xianqi channeled his ultimate yuan. The heart-burning demonic sword hummed softly, and flames rose and spread wildly. In the world of flames, demonic flames soared into the sky. The 2 sword demons of the current era kept channeling their demonic chi, and their power shook the heavens and the earth. The demonic flames rushed out, shaking the heavens and the earth. In the middle of the battle, the void cracked and spread out, reaching thousands of miles away. The expert swordsman of the human race has amazed us once again. In the demon realm camp, Xianlai looked in the direction of the human race camp. The 13th son was also a rare expert swordsman. Not to mention the overall strength of the human race, the development of the human race's swordsmanship was indeed amazing. "Why, are you starting to worry?" Xianmo asked calmly. "I'm not worried, but a little curious," Xianlai said in a deep voice. Xianlai said in a deep voice, I expected the 13 to participate in this battle, but I never expected such an unfamiliar and powerful swordsman to appear. The 13th prince's swordsmanship, palm techniques, and saber techniques are all extraordinary. He gave up on the battle of swords because he's more confident in winning one of the other two battles, Xian Mo said faintly. Saber palm. Xianlai's eyes narrowed. It'll be difficult to win these two battles. In the human race camp, Ningchen felt the gaze from the sky demon camp, and a cold light flashed through his eyes. Even though they were far away, their eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. After a while, the two retracted their gazes and continued to watch the battle. In the fire world, the battle between the two demons had reached its climax. It was a battle of the pinnacle. The two figures continued to exchange blows, and sword light and fire light were dazzling. Xia Zi's injuries accumulated over and over again, and the corner of his mouth finally turned red. The difference in cultivation was gradually revealed. They were both top swordsmen in the world, but the small difference in cultivation was enough to determine the outcome. Zi's cultivation is starting to weaken, Qin Ning said. I understand. Ningchen nodded, but he had no intention of stopping them. If it's not possible, then give up this battle. Luo Xingchen suggested with a serious expression. Wait a little longer. On the side, Luo Fei said with a serious expression. If we stop now, Zi will regret it. Ningchen nodded. Swords have their swordsmanship, demons have their demonic ways. Zi's path will be decided by himself. Thank you, Luo Fei said seriously. As the injuries accumulated, the battle between the two demons began to tilt. The demon swords clashed, and blood splashed. Xia Zi's figure retreated 10 feet, and the hand holding the sword was covered in blood. Unfortunately, you could have been stronger. In front, Xianqi walked forward step by step. He looked at his opponent with regret. If he had 100 years, the person in front of him might be able to threaten him. After taking 10 steps forward, Xianqi suddenly stopped. His eyes narrowed as he looked forward. At this moment, in the rising flames, the king bent his knees and half knelt, worshipping some god. In an instant, black demonic aura surged around the king. Black feathers fluttered, and the 12 wings of sin appeared. The demonic aura was wild and rushed into the sky. This is? The sudden change made Xianqi's expression turn serious. He fully activated his cultivation and was on guard. Something was wrong. This demonic aura did not belong to the human world. The demonic aura was pure and powerful. It surpassed the demonic attribute and was infinitely close to the origin of heaven and earth. Nether King. Above the void, the 4 emperors of the primordial demon realm looked at the scene below. Why would the power of Nether King appear in the human world? Wasn't that person unable to descend from the 7 extinction heaven? In the battle below, the power of Nether King appeared. Xia Zi's eyes turned dark. The 12 wings of sin behind him flapped, and he disappeared instantly. Boom! Before Xianqi could react, the 2 swords clashed again. The violent demonic aura caused the surrounding heaven and earth to collapse. After 1 sword, Xia Zi disappeared again. The demonic aura surged and drowned the battle. In the dark demonic aura, Xianqi's expression turned serious. He pointed at his sword, and blood stained the blade. Burning heart, God slaying. Pushing himself to the limit, Xianqi's eyes flashed red. He stepped forward and disappeared as well. Boom! The swords clashed, and heaven and earth shook. In the collapsing fire world, the 2 figures crossed each other rapidly. The demonic swords clashed, and the power was shocking. The kings of both the human and demon camps all became serious as they watched the shocking battle of swords before them. Putting aside their positions and grudges, martial artists competed with swordsmen. How lucky was it to meet a worthy opponent? Awesome! In the battle, Xianqi's body was red. The peerless sword demon could no longer maintain his previous calmness. However, the more Xianqi fought, the redder the color in his eyes became. His desire to fight became even crazier. Fourth brother has finally regained a bit of his former self. Outside the battle, Xian Lai looked at the battle and said, "Back then, Xian Qi's personality was crazy and unrestrained. However, as his cultivation increased, he became calm and indifferent, completely losing his former craziness. Demons should follow their nature. Suppressing their nature, how different were they from humans? 1,000 demons limitless, burning heart and devouring soul." The battle had reached a critical moment, and there was no room for mercy. Xian Qi shouted, and the red light around him shot into the sky. The fire world couldn't withstand the demonic aura and quickly collapsed. The sword slashed down, and 1,000 demons howled in the sky. The sword move that had never been seen before cut open heaven and earth, destroying the 6 paths of reincarnation. In front of the battle, Xia Zi's dark eyes flashed. The 12 wings of sin behind his back disappeared silently. He gathered all his power and condensed it into the final sword. Demonic sword, bury the sky. The final move, return to origin. In the sky, the doomsday sword slashed down. In an instant, a black crack appeared and quickly spread into the depths of the sky. Chapter 1275. In the world of fire, the battle of swords, the 2 demons finally appeared, their demonic might shaking the world. The limitless 1,000 demons and the sky-bearing demon sword collided with each other, the entire world of fire collapsing. Waves of fire scattered, burning the sky and boiling the sea. In the violent aftermath, the victor stood upright. Suddenly, blood splattered from his chest, dyeing his demonic body red. Ugh! Retreating several steps, Mysterious Qi staggered several steps, his body covered in blood, dazzling to the eye. In the distance, the black-robed, white-haired figure flew out, crashing into a meteor. The demon's sword returned to its original form, its aura receding. A clear sword mark appeared between the king's eyebrows. Blood dripped down silently. In the end, he was defeated, and the king's body was completely exhausted. This bitter battle shocked all the kings present. "Lei, go and bring Zi back." In the human camp, Ningchen said calmly. "Okay." Luofei nodded. She stepped forward and flew into the starry sky. In the battle, Mysterious Qi saw the humans move. His expression darkened. Suppressing his heavy injuries, his figure flashed, wanting to finish off his opponent before the human experts could stop him. He knew very well that such an opponent would become a great threat to the demon realm in the future. He had to get rid of him as soon as possible. At this moment, in the starry sky, a black-robed, black-haired figure flashed past and blocked in front of the demonic cultivator. The divine weapon shrouded in ghostly qi blocked the path, not allowing anyone to overstep. The humans admit defeat in this battle. Ningchen looked at the demon race's first sword and said calmly. Behind him, Luofei's figure flashed past, arriving beside the unconscious Zi. She took the ladder and left the battle. In the starry sky, the two looked at each other, their eyes flashing with bone-chilling killing intent. "Cherish the little time you have left." Mysterious Qi waved his hand and put away his sword, then turned and walked toward the demon realm camp. The second battle had ended. The primordial demon realm had won. However, the kings in the demon realm camp did not have much joy on their faces. The strength of the humans had exceeded their expectations. "Are you okay?" In front of the kings, Xian Lai looked at the man walking back and asked. "I'm fine. I just need to rest for a while." Mysterious Qi replied calmly. He walked to the side and sat down cross-legged to rest. He slowly closed his eyes, but he still couldn't hide the seriousness in them. The battle just now was really dangerous. The younger generation of the human race had actually grown to such a terrifying extent. They were almost on the same level as them. In the human camp, Luofei brought back the unconscious Xiazi. After Ning Chen went forward to investigate, he relaxed a little. His injuries weren't too serious. It was just that his body was exhausted and he was too weak. The number 1 sword of the demon race, his reputation was well-deserved. Even with Zi Yi's strength, he was still defeated. What a pity! Luofei, help Zi heal her injuries. Sister Qing Ning, prepare to draw the next battle. Ningchen glanced at the two and said, "Yes." The two of them nodded and replied, Above the void, the voice of the ruler of the two realms sounded again, announcing the result of the second battle. The human clan and the demon realm had each won one round. The third round was about to begin. All the kings looked on. The representatives of the two realms drew the third round. Multicolored light flourished, and a dazzling spear character appeared before everyone's eyes. Is it finally my turn? In the camp of the primordial demon realm, Azura's eyes flashed when he saw the words in the sky. Azura, I'll leave it to you, Xianlai said solemnly. Xianlai said seriously, the war god of the demon race cannot be defeated. Understand? I understand. Azura nodded. He took a step forward and rushed toward the 6 paths of reincarnation in front of him. In the human camp, the crucial battle had arrived. Everyone looked at the Dawn Moon Tower's master not far away with solemn expressions. In front of her, Ningchen looked at the 6 paths of reincarnation rotating in the void with a solemn expression. In this battle, the right time and place were very important. This time, it really depended on luck. Jiming Marquis, now I somewhat understand why you protected the human world back then. The Dawn Moon Tower's master stepped forward and said calmly. Then she leaped into the starry sky ahead. Between the two realms, the 6 paths of reincarnation rotated. The flame world had collapsed in the previous battle. Now only the 5 realms were left, constantly changing. Under everyone's gaze, in a small world illuminated by holy light, 2 figures walked out and appeared on the battlefield. Light realm. In the camp of the 2 realms, the Peak Kings looked at the scene in front of them and were all shocked. Great Jinx. It was the Great Jinx again. This time, luck was on the side of the humans. Saints and demons countered each other. The world of light completely suppressed the war god of the demon race. Before the battle even began, they had already lost the initiative. Not good. In the primordial demon camp, the king's expressions changed. The Great Jinx was the worst possible outcome. There was no doubt about Azura's strength. However, no matter how strong someone was, if they couldn't use their full strength, they couldn't win every battle. In the world of light, Azura and the Dawn Moon Tower's master faced each other. The power of light spread between heaven and earth, constantly purifying the demonic chi around the war god of the demon race. Please, the Dawn Moon Tower's master said with a smile. King of the human race, let Azura fight to his heart's content. With that, Azura roared. Demonic chi surged around him, and an ancient demonic artifact appeared. Fire Beacon City appeared, and the flames of war filled the human world. Azura held his spear and moved. Demonic chi rushed into the sky. As you wish, the Dawn Moon Tower's master replied. Her right hand grasped the air, and the underworld divine spear also appeared. She took a step forward and moved. Boom, boom. At the peak of the spear, the divine weapons clashed. The clanging sounds were endless. This was a rare battle between kings. As soon as they clashed, it became white-hot. Azura, the strongest war god of the demon race, was a peerless cultivator who had half of the imperial path. In the ancient times, he once blocked the human emperors. He was extremely powerful and carried all the hopes of the revival of the 8. The Dawn Moon Tower's master was a mysterious king of the human race. Although she rarely fought, her strength was unfathomable. The 2 peerless cultivators clashed. In the world of light, the sand raged, and the spear moved freely. Every move was deadly. 7 rulings of the underworld, judgment of the 3rd night. The Dawn Moon Tower's master stepped forward and spun her spear. The sound of the spear shook the sky. In Azura's hand, the Fire Beacon City broke through the air and blocked the attack. With a boom, the divine weapons clashed. The powerful shockwaves shook. Azura suddenly felt a sharp pain in his ears, and the demonic chi in his body became unstable. The opportunity for victory appeared. The Dawn Moon Tower's master stepped forward with her spear. The spinning yellow spring was very sharp. In a short distance, streaks of spear light shot forward. As the killing intent approached, Azura suppressed the surging blood chi in his body. His hands spun the fire beacon, blocking wave after wave of attacks. Fire of war, killing god. The situation was unfavorable. Azura didn't dare to fight for a long time. He attacked with a move that could destroy the world. Above the fire beacon, flames swept out and swallowed the human king. Seeing this, the Dawn Moon Tower's master split into two, dodging the demon's ultimate move. In an instant, the two merged into one again. The yellow spring pierced through the air, stabbing toward Azura's back. Boom! In the instant of danger, a huge Azura evil image appeared behind Azura, blocking the fatal move. It was a shocking battle. In the primeval demon realm camp, the kings looked at the battle before them with heavy expressions. Azura was actually at a disadvantage. This was a situation that no one had expected. The war god of the demon race was even more powerful than Chuanqi. It could be said that among the 5 battles, the primeval demon realm had the highest chance of winning. However, judging from the current situation, Azura might even be defeated. There were too many variables in the Great Subjugation layout. Even someone as strong as Azura couldn't reverse this fate layout. In the human camp, compared to the heavy mood of the demon realm's kings, the human kings had rare smiles on their faces. It's really a blessing from the heavens. If we win this round, the remaining 2 battles will be easy. Luo Xingchen looked at the battle before him and was in an exceptionally good mood. He was full of smiles. To be able to obtain the Great Subjugation layout, we are indeed lucky. On the side, Mu Qianshang also felt a rare sense of relief and smiled. This battle we can win, right? Beside Ji Ming, Qin Ning asked softly. Azura is still holding back. However, the Dawn Moon Tower Master has also not used her full strength. As long as there are no accidents, the humans have a 90% chance of winning this battle, Ningchen said calmly. Just as the kings of the 2 realms were fully focused on the battle, in the void, the emperors were also watching the battle below with different expressions. To think that the war god of the demon race would be in such a tough battle. Although the Great Subjugation layout is indeed disadvantageous, the human king is also shockingly powerful, the Western Sacred Master said solemnly. If this continues, Azura might lose this battle, the Scale Emperor said coldly. Demon Emperor, this is not the result that we want to see. Not far away, the Divine Capital Mountain Master Yulu also spoke with a heavy tone. Wait! In front of the emperors, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor's face was unusually gloomy as he replied in a deep voice. On the other side, the 3 human demon emperors looked at the battle below and their expressions eased a lot. Old friend, these kings of the underworld have really impressed me. The fortune teller in green smiled. Many of them have experienced the war of the gods. Whether it's battle experience or mental resilience, they are incomparable to ordinary experts. These people will be the future of the human race, and that Jiming Marquis is the key to leading these people, the God Realm Master said seriously. The human race is fortunate to have these people. To the side, Gongzi Xiaobai sighed softly and said, Teacher, only now do I understand why you chose that young man. In the world of light, the battle between the 2 experts became more and more intense. The Dawn Moon Pavilion Master, who was supported by Radiant Saint Force, attacked with unparalleled force. Her spear tore through the air and opened the path to the underworld. Boom! There was another earth-shaking rumble as the 2 weapons clashed, causing turbulence. Blood flowed from the corner of Azura's mouth, and he saw blood for the first time. The war god seemed to be losing. In the depths of the ancestral heavenly demon land in the primal demon realm, Demon Emperor Kun Yi watched the battle reflected in the sky with an extremely cold expression. The war god of the demon race could not be defeated. Otherwise, the title of war god would become a joke. Thinking up to there, Demon Emperor Kun Yi clenched his hands, and the entire ancestral heavenly demon land rumbled. Endless demonic chi surged back into the emperor's body. Chapter 1276. In the radiant sacred domain, the flames of war raged. The strongest war god of the demon race, the most mysterious king of the human race, the 2 peak experts clashed. Their might shook the heavens and the earth. Under everyone's gazes, the master of the Dawn Moon edifice displayed her shocking ability. Her yellow springs danced like a dragon. Even the war god of the demon race was at a disadvantage. Immeasurable cultivation, 1,000 years of martial arts experience. In the battle, Azura's demonic essence surged, using his astonishing battle prowess to forcefully hold on until now. In the tilted battle, everyone could see that the war god of the demon race was at a disadvantage. However, the undefeated war god was still not defeated. Outside the battle, the human king's expressions gradually froze. Azura's tenacity was truly shocking. Being suppressed to such an extent, he was still able to hold on. The war god of the demon race lives up to his name. Mu Qianshang said with a solemn expression. In the demon camp, all the demon experts looked at the battle before them. Azura's tenacity had a limit. With the accumulation of defeat was only a matter of time. This human king had never been heard of before. To be able to force Azura to such an extent, even the 13th son would find it difficult to do so. The human race is truly a race that no one dares to underestimate. Xian Qi slowly opened his eyes and stood up. After experiencing the failure of the ancient era, we have never dared to underestimate the human race. However, the human experts continue to amaze us time and time again. Xian Lai said solemnly, "It seems that if we want to completely defeat the human race, the first step is to completely crush the confidence of these human experts." Xian Qi said coldly, "Azura." Xian Lai looked at the battle before him and said seriously, "Our war god cannot lose. No matter how difficult the situation is, he must win." Yellow Springs 7 Rulings, World Cleansing Sanskrit. After 100 moves, the master of the Dawn Moon edifice took a step forward. The true essence around her rose to the extreme, transforming into Buddhist saint power. An earth-shattering move was unleashed. Yellow Springs galloped, Sanskrit descended from the heavens. The Buddhist move fused with the rhythm broke through the demonic chi that permeated the air. The spear moved forward, breaking towards the heart of the war god of the demon race. Indestructible protection. As danger approached, Azura activated the heavenly demon protection technique. He crossed his arms and demonic chi surged, forming layers upon layers of barriers in front of him. The yellow springs arrived, and the golden waves crashed into the demon's indestructible protection. Saints and demons clashed, and a terrifying explosion resounded throughout the universe. The Azura took half a step back, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. The war god was injured and showed signs of defeat. At the front, the Dawn Moon brothel mistress saw this and her eyes shone brightly. She took a step forward and her spinning spear pierced through the air. The netherworld divine spear and the heavenly demonic chi continued to collide. With the support of the saint power, the demonic chi continued to spread in front of Azura, unable to stop the sharpness of the divine weapon. Ugh! Suddenly, the yellow springs broke through the obstruction of the devil chi and pierced into the devil cultivator's body, bringing forth a dazzling waterfall of blood. King of the human race, you amaze the Azuras. The tip of the spear entered his body, but it was difficult for it to move an inch further. Azura shouted in a deep voice. The flames of war illuminated the sun and moon, and its might shook the world. The heaven-piercing spear had a world-shaking might. The war god counterattacked, his killing intent filling the sky. As danger approached, the Dawn Moon brothel mistress stepped forward and retreated. With a boom, the demonic spear's remaining power swept past. The Dawn Moon brothel mistress' lips turned red, and she retreated 100 feet away. His counterattack was avoided, and a serious look flashed through Azura's eyes. He now started to believe that the human king in front of him was on the same level as him. If he couldn't break through the restrictions of time and place in this battle, he, Azura, really might lose. At the front, the Dawn Moon brothel mistress wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. She looked at the war god in front of her and said calmly, "Again." "Please." Azura's expression became more and more serious. Facing a powerful opponent before him, he didn't dare to be careless. In the next instant, the two figures clashed again in the world of light. Shocking waves quickly spread out, destroying the surrounding space and time. The undefeated war god was in the toughest battle of his life. Every move and attack was restricted. The Dawn Moon brothel mistress used her great wisdom to combine music and martial arts. This battle shocked the world, completely suppressing the war god of the demon race. What a terrifying war god of the demon race! What a terrifying Dawn Moon brothel mistress! In the human camp, Luo Xingchen looked at the battle ahead and exclaimed. Although he wasn't good at close combat, he could still see the intensity of this battle. The war god of the demon race was shockingly strong, but the Dawn Moon brothel mistress was also shocking. In the demon camp, the peerless kings all looked at the battle ahead. Their expressions also changed. It seems that even if it's not a great disadvantage, Azura will find it difficult to suppress this human king in this battle, Xian Mo said seriously. This is the most shocking part, Xian Qi said in a deep voice. The strong cultivators of the human race have already grown to the point where they can be on the same level as us. This speed is shocking. The lifespan of the human race was much shorter than that of the 100 races, but the cultivation speed of the human race was far from what the 100 races could compare to. Based on the current situation, it will be difficult for us to win the next 2 battles easily. I'm afraid that 2 tough battles are unavoidable, Xian Lai said seriously. Blade or palm? Which will the 13th choose? Xian Qi looked over at the black-robed young man in front of the human camp. Thoughts flashed through his mind. Giving up the chance to compete in the sword competition meant that the 13th prince thought that he had a better chance of winning the blade and palm battles. However, the 13th prince could only fight 1 battle. The other battle had to be fought by someone else. On the side, Xian Mo was silent. He knew that whether his opponent was the 13th prince or not, the battle of blades wouldn't be too peaceful. Is it him? Beside Ning Chen, Hua Zhongdia looked at Xian Mo in the heavenly demon camp and asked. Yes. Ning Chen nodded and said, Heavenly Demon Imperial City, the Grand Commander of the Forbidden Army. He's good with the blade and is as strong as any king of the demon race. Senior Sister Dai's opponent will definitely be him. Hua Zhongdia nodded. She could clearly feel that the Grand Commander of the Forbidden Army's cultivation had already surpassed normal kings. Just as the kings thought that there would be no more changes in this battle and started to discuss the next battle, demonic chi pressed down from the sky. It was strong and heavy. Kuan-yi. In the human camp, Ning Chen sensed it. He looked toward the sky, and his expression darkened. Why is he here? The Kuan-yi Demon Emperor's cultivation was sealed by the senior and should still be recovering. In the demonic camp, the king's expressions also changed. They obviously didn't expect the Kuan-yi Demon Emperor to appear here. In the sky, an illusory figure appeared in the rolling clouds. It was hard to tell if it was real or not. When the celestial Demon Emperor appeared, the 6 paths of reincarnation shook violently. The battle wasn't over, and it started to spin again. After a while, the world around the two started to change. The world of light gradually turned dark. This is... In the human camp, Ning Chen looked at the 6 paths of reincarnation that started to shift, and his expression darkened. Not good. Boom. In the battle between the two, the light disappeared, and a dark world descended. Dark clouds rolled in the sky, and the situation was reversed. The saint light disappeared, and demonic chi rose around Azura. It was as thick as waves, shocking everyone. In front of him, the Dawn Moon House Master was surrounded by a dark power that suppressed her king-level body. Chapter 1277. The third round of the competition between the 2 realms was a spear battle. At the critical moment, the Sky Demon Lord appeared in the sky, and his supreme demonic power changed the situation. The 6 paths of reincarnation spun, and the world of light turned into darkness. Demonic clouds covered the sun. Below, demonic chi surged around Azura, and his powerful aura filled the entire world of darkness. In the human camp, Ning Chen looked at the looming celestial devil lord in the void with a gloomy expression. Why would Demon Emperor Kuan appear here? Emperors are not allowed to interfere in the competition between the 2 realms. Otherwise, it'll be seen as giving up. Does your realm want to break the oath? The Lord of God realm said coldly. I've never interfered in the battle between the 2 realms. It's just that this large world can't withstand my power and affects their battle. It should be because the small world you created isn't complete enough and is still affected by the changes of the large world. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened, Demon Emperor Kuan said in the sky. You're being unreasonable. A cold light flashed past the fortune-teller's eyes, and he couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. The primordial demon realm had gone too far. On the side, the Lord of God realm looked over at the young man in black in front of the human camp with a questioning expression. In front of the lords, Ning Chen calmed himself down and nodded lightly. Let's continue, the Lord of God realm said calmly. In the sky, Demon Emperor Kuan sneered, and his figure gradually faded and disappeared. In the human camp, behind Ji Ming, Qing Ning stepped forward and said seriously, I'm afraid it'll be difficult to win this round. Ning Chen nodded and said, we had the upper hand before, and in order to end the battle quickly, the House Lord strengthened his attacks and consumed a lot of energy. Now, the situation has changed, and the House Lord wants to turn the tables, but he doesn't have enough energy. What a pity. Qing Ning sighed softly. The human race had a 90% chance of winning this round. She didn't expect such a change. In the world of darkness, demonic qi continued to spread. With the help of the dark power, the demonic aura around Azura rose rapidly. An earth-shattering roar resounded through the sky. Behind Azura, a giant Azura evil face appeared. Its powerful and ferocious face shocked everyone. With the support of the evil image, his Azura technique reached its peak again. Violent demonic aura surged, drowning the surrounding heaven and earth. God-slaying war flames. The demonic technique reappeared, its power increased by several times. In Azura's hand, demonic flames curled up, burning the sky and boiling the sea. The Azura evil face roared as its demonic energy gathered and poured into the demonic spear. The final move was about to arrive. On the other side, the Dawn Moon Tower Master's expression turned serious. Her silhouette split into two. Music and martial arts moved side by side. The sound of the yellow springs rang out and the sky changed color. In the world of darkness, the battle between light and darkness was decided with a single touch. Outside the battlefield, the kings of the two realms were watching the battle in front of them attentively. In this round, victory or defeat was very important. In a best-of-5 round bet, whoever won the second round first would undoubtedly have a higher chance of winning. In the human camp, Butterfly in the Flower closed her eyes, resting quietly. She didn't care about the battle at all. Her mission was to obtain a victory for her junior brother. She did not care about anything else. Boom! In front of everyone's eyes, in the world of darkness, the two realms collided. After the world of fire, the world of darkness also collapsed. Black air flowed out and dispersed in the great world. In the battle, two silhouettes flew out at the same time. Blood splattered like rain. The result could not be seen. Blood dripped from the corners of Azura and the Dawn Moon Tower Master's mouths. They were heavily injured. Is it a draw? In the camp of the two realms, the kings frowned with different expressions. Suddenly, the overflowing dark aura surged like a tide and entered the body of the Dawn Moon Tower Master. With a groan, blood spurted out from the chest of the Dawn Moon Tower Master and dyed the starry sky red. The shocking scene shocked all the kings. No one could react to what had happened. In the primordial demon realm, the heavenly demon ancestral land, the first demon emperor raised his right hand and slowly lowered it. The surrounding demonic aura dispersed and returned to the ancestral land. In the battle between the two realms, in the human camp, Ning Chen's figure flashed. Before everyone could react, he was already in the battle. The fire beacon's sharp edge swept over, but the ghost sword blocked the war god's killing intent. For this round, the human race admits defeat. Without any hesitation, Ning Chen said coldly and immediately brought the heavily injured Dawn Moon Tower Master out of the battle. In the human camp, the kings looked at the two who had returned with a solemn expression. Sister Qing Ning, you have the Buddha energy and can purify the demonic aura. You will help the Tower Master to heal her. Ning Chen said. Leave it to me. Qing Ning nodded. I'm sorry. The Dawn Moon Tower Master struggled to open her eyes and said weakly, It's not our fault. It's just that we underestimated the despicableness of the primordial demon realm. The Tower Master can focus on healing. Leave the next 2 battles to us. Ning Chen said seriously. What on earth happened just now? It was a draw. Why did the demonic aura suddenly surge back? Mu Qianshang said. I'm afraid it was the first demon emperor's doing. Ning Chen looked at the 4 emperors of the demon realm in the void with a cold expression. There were too many unfairness in this battle. But even so, they could not give up. In the void, Luo Xingchen replaced Qing Ning to draw lots. The 4th battle was about to be decided. Saber and palm, the last 2 rounds. In the demon realm camp, the peerless experts quietly watched the final result. 2 out of 3 rounds had been won. The final victory was within reach. In the void, the wheel stopped. The result of the 4th round was out. In the starry sky, the dazzling Saber character appeared, affecting the hearts of the kings present. In the demon realm camp, Xian Mo walked out. The commander of the Sky Demon Imperial Guard officially walked in front of the crowd. Behind her, the kings of the demon realm were unusually calm. They were no longer worried about the result of this battle. Xian Mo had been in charge of the Sky Demon Imperial Guard for over 1,000 years. It was not because of Xian Mo's noble status or background, but because in the past 1,000 years, Xian Mo was the true number 1 person of the Sky Demon clan. Even the 2 strongest princes of the Sky Demon Imperial family, or Azura, the war god of the demon race, did not dare to say that they could defeat this commander of the Imperial Guard. In the human camp, Hua Zhongdia opened her eyes and walked forward. The moment she passed by, Ning Chen said seriously, "Be careful, Xian Mo's strength is above Xian Luo." Hua Zhongdia nodded slightly and said softly, 40 years ago, I gave you a lot of trouble. Today, I will give you a victory. As soon as she finished speaking, Hua Zhongdia stepped on the ground barefoot and flew toward the 6 paths of reincarnation. After a few breaths, 2 figures walked out of the world of ice. Snowflakes fell from the sky, turning the human world white. Level. In the camp of the 2 territories, the kings let out a sigh of relief. In the previous battle, the influence of the right time and the right place had left a deep impression on them. No one wanted to encounter another situation at this critical moment. Not long ago, I heard the 13th prince call you senior sister. In the world of ice and snow, Xian Mo looked at the woman in front of her and said calmly, I think your strength is above the 13th prince. No one can measure my junior brother's strength, but I did teach him how to use the saber, Hua Zhongdia said faintly. Hua Zhongdia said blandly. From her sleeves, a black and a white demonic sword appeared out of nowhere. Demonic saber flower burial, butterfly tears, the god of saber of the central state, showed his shocking saber skills again today. Chapter 1278. In the world of ice and snow, Butterfly in the Flower and Xian Mo stared at each other as saber lights appeared. The battle was about to begin. The flower burial tears displayed extreme power as black and white light intersected, illuminating the world. Inside and outside the battle, the expressions of the peerless kings became serious as they watched the battle of the century. Please. Xian Mo stepped forward and waved her saber. Boundless demonic might swept across the world of ice and snow, shaking the world. The number 1 person in the Sky Demon Royal Guard in the past 1,000 years displayed world-shocking abilities. Her saber held up the sky, causing the sun and moon to change color. The demonic figure that sped past had overwhelming demonic might as the saber slashed down, splitting the world in half. In front, Butterfly in the Flower focused and waved her 2 sabers. With a clang, the flower burial tears clashed with the saber. Demonic chi and saber chi swept out for thousands of miles. The 4th round of the battle between the 2 realms was a battle of the saber. The 2 strongest saber experts of the demon realm and the human race clashed. The sabers clashed, but each move was as heavy as a mountain. The 2 sabers moved as soon as they touched. They were so fast that it was hard to follow. In the intense battle, Butterfly in the Flower's figure danced like a butterfly. Her saber was wrapped in her sleeves, shocking the world. The saber god of the middle state had rare attainments in the saber. He had surpassed the only one and had reached the extreme. The saber was endless. Her sleeves and saber lights intersected, trapping the enemy. In the saber lights, Xian Mo's steps were clean. Although she had a demonic body, she walked the great Tao. The sharp military saber opened and closed wide. It looked simple, and there were no flaws in the moves. The saber lights intersected, and the battle quickly reached its climax. This was the fairest battle in the history of the battle between the two realms. Both of them lost to the extreme. The only thing that mattered was the saber. Ha! Low roars sounded as the two moved. Their sabers moved, and a shocking cold light clashed again and again. Wherever the saber lights passed, mountains would be split. Outside the battlefield, the kings were watching the battle with focused expressions. Such a martial art was rarely seen in 100 years. Watching this battle would bring them endless benefits. Their attainments in the saber are truly shocking. It's hard to tell who will win this battle. In the human camp, the Knight Patriarch stepped forward and watched the great battle in the world of ice and snow. In terms of cultivation, Xian Mo is undoubtedly better than Senior Sister Dai. However, Senior Sister Dai has cultivated the 9 Serenities sky-devouring demon scripture, which is the best demonic skill in the world. She can devour other people's genuine qi and make up for her disadvantage in cultivation. In this battle, the real deciding factor is the attainment of broadswordsmanship, Ning Qin said seriously. 9 Serenities heaven-devouring demon scripture? Hearing this, a strange look flashed across the Night Lord's eyes. This forbidden demonic technique had actually not been lost? In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had already been exchanged. The demonic qi around the two of them grew stronger and stronger. Boom! As the military saber slashed down, Flower Burial met it head-on. The aftershocks spread out in circles, constantly destroying the laws of heaven and earth in the surroundings. Suddenly, Xian Mo felt the demonic qi in her body leak out, and the power flowed along the blade towards the woman in front of her. This is... In the sudden change, Xian Mo guards her origin, restrains her devil aura, and forcibly prevents her yuan power from leaking out. In the primal demon realm camp, Xian Qi, Xian Lai, and Azura also saw the change in the battle. What happened just now? Xian Mo's power was actually devoured by that human woman. In the battle, the two of them exchanged moves again. Saber against saber, clashing continuously. The demonic qi on Xian Mo's saber was restrained, but the world's #1 demonic technique was shockingly powerful. Through the contact of the saber, it slowly devoured the demonic technique. I can only think of a technique that can devour other people's true qi in battle. Xian Qi said with a serious expression. Ancient forbidden technique, 9 hell sky devouring demon scripture. Xian Lai said in a low voice. Someone from the human race actually managed to cultivate this technique. It's unbelievable, Azura said in a serious tone. The conditions to cultivate the 9 hell sky devouring demon scripture were extremely harsh. During the cultivation process, one had to constantly devour other people's origin, which could easily cause one's memories and true qi to become chaotic and backfire on oneself. This forbidden technique was indeed very powerful, but from ancient times until now, only 1 in 10,000 people could cultivate it to greater success. The three of them calmed down. The strong cultivators of the human race had already given them too much shock. The seemingly weak human race was growing at an astonishing speed. Perhaps soon, the human race's power would be able to contend against the demonic realm. 10 years. No wonder the human race didn't hesitate to use the 4 major star fields as a bet to obtain these 10 years. What the human race needed the most now was time to grow. 10 years was enough to change too many things. In the world of ice and snow, the battle became more and more intense. In the sky full of snowflakes, 2 beams of light clashed again and again. The clanging sound of the collision was endless. Strong, so strong that it was shocking. The strongest saber couldn't coexist. It would be divided into 1. Jiewu, Shu angling. The white saber flew out. The sky full of snowflakes surged like waves, turning into tens of thousands of sharp sabers, flying towards the commander of the demon race. Xian Mo saw this and shouted. She held her saber with both hands and slashed down with the power to break mountains and rivers. Boom! The demonic saber broke the tens of thousands of sabers. The heaven and earth changed color. The incomparably powerful demonic might directly cut open the void. A huge crack spread out, reaching thousands of miles away. It was a shocking move. The moment the sky full of snowflakes dissipated, a blue figure flashed past. The flower burial saber fell down with an invisible killing intent. Swallowing mountains and rivers. The killing move arrived again. Xian Mo's expression didn't panic. She condensed her yuan energy and attacked the incoming move head-on. The two sabers clashed. The intense clashing sound was deafening. In the next moment, a white saber appeared in Hua Zhongdie's left hand. The short saber was as fast as lightning. Xian Mo's pupils constricted. She took half a step back. Her saber was as fast as lightning, blocking wave after wave of attacks. In the sky full of snowflakes, round after round of attacks and defense. It was so intense that it was overwhelming. It was the first time in 100 years that a battle on the saber was at the peak. This woman is able to fight on par with Commander Xian Mo. Moreover, she is at a disadvantage in terms of cultivation base. It is not hard to imagine that if the two had the same cultivation base, Xian Mo would most likely be defeated by this woman. Xian Lai said in a deep voice. A genius on the saber, a proud daughter of the heavens. Xian Qi said calmly. Her saber is somewhat similar to the 13th prince's, but it is obviously stronger. It will not be easy for Xian Mo to win this battle. Dieu, Skynet. The battle had reached its climax. Hua Zhongdie's figure flashed quickly. Her water sleeves extended and twisted, forming an inescapable net that blocked the demon's escape route. In the wind and snow, one after another blue water sleeves crisscrossed like a spider web. It was impossible to dodge. Xian Mo frowned. She held her saber in a reverse grip and cut off the water sleeves one after another. However, the sky net was endless. The water sleeves crisscrossed past the saber and wrapped around the demon's body. The demon's movement was restricted. In the blink of an eye, Hua Zhongdie's eyes flashed. She stepped barefoot in the air and her figure flashed forward. The flower burial slashed down. The strongest saber was about to be revealed. In the world of ice and snow, Xian Mo quietly looked at the sharp saber in front of her. At this moment, time seemed to slow down. The scenes of the past kept replaying in her mind. You're back! In the corner of the Three Emperor City in the demon domain, a woman turned her head and smiled at the middle-aged man who had just returned. The man nodded lightly and replied, "The food is almost ready. Let's eat." The woman said softly. The man nodded and said, 100 years, 1,000 years of companionship. Day after day, year after year, Xian Mo's eyes became brighter and brighter. It was so bright that no one dared to look at it directly. I won't let anyone take my life. The seal was broken. Demonic qi rushed into the sky. Xian Mo's body was surrounded by Xian Mo's blood qi. A terrifying power vibrated. The saber met the demonic qi was shocking. The two sabers clashed. Hua Zhongdie's hand that was holding the saber started to bleed. It was the first time that she had seen blood since the battle. The demonic qi was even stronger. Hua Zhongdie's god condensed. She stepped forward barefoot and the two sabers merged into one. Dieu Qingping. The ultimate martial reappeared, a clear-cut saber. Between heaven and earth, the wind and snow suddenly stopped. Only the black saber light sped past. The saber light got close. Xian Mo's figure flashed out and shattered the saber light in front of her. She continued to move forward. Boom! The two sabers clashed again. Hua Zhongdie retreated again. Blood kept dripping from her hand that was holding the saber. The opponent's full power was close to the imperial path. Even the 9 hell-devouring demon scripture could not resist the demonic qi. Is the victor going to be decided? In the primal demon realm camp, peerless experts looked at the battle and said, Xian Mo had broken the seal and regained her heavenly demon nature. Her battle power had increased. There should be no more surprises in this battle. In the human race camp, Mu Qiansheng, Luo Xingchen, and the others' expressions changed. Their hearts were heavy. The human race had already lost 2 rounds. They could not lose this round. Otherwise, they would have to give up the 4 major star fields. In the current situation, once the 4 major star fields changed owners, the primal demon realm's strength would increase greatly. At that time, the human race would not be able to resist the invasion of the 100 Races Alliance. In front of the human race kings, Ning Chen watched the battle. His gaze never left. He believed that Senior Sister Dai would not lose to anyone, even if her opponent was Xianemo. In the world of ice and snow, the battle was tilting. Hua Zhongdia's right arm was bleeding. She was gradually losing. This was the most crucial battle for the human race. They could not afford to lose. Hua Zhongdia blocked a blow. With a shout, she released her demonic nature. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed. The butterfly buried the flower. Blood-red hair danced in the wind. Butterfly dance. Nether King. The reappearance of the Nether King's power shocked everyone. Between heaven and earth, thousands of black butterflies flew out. Their demonic power was endless and shocking. In the next instant, a pair of black butterfly wings spread out behind Hua Zhongdia. Demonic fire spread, burning the sky and boiling the sea. It was a shocking scene. Around Hua Zhongdia's body, demonic patterns spread out. Terrifying demonic qi rippled. The heavenly demons of the primal demon realm were even stronger. On the opposite side, Xianemo saw the change in the woman in front of her. Her expression darkened. The human race had so many demonic cultivators. It was unbelievable. Humans and demonic cultivators had different paths. How could they easily reach the same destination? The demonic power of the woman in front of her was not inferior to the imperial heavenly demons. In the void, Mo Dai stood in the air. Her sleeves danced in the wind. She was like a demonic cultivator. Her power was shocking. Again! With that, Mo Dai disappeared instantly. Like lightning, she appeared in front of the demonic cultivator in the blink of an eye. Boom! The 2 blades clashed. Xianmo's right hand split open. Blood splattered and dyed the blade red. Chapter 1279. In the world of ice and snow, frost surged. The demonic butterfly spread its wings and attacked with all its might. The 2 sides clashed. The shockwaves roared and surged. Demonic qi surged, sweeping up 1,000 layers of snow. Within the waves, a smear of blood splashed out, dyeing the snow in the sky red. It was a shocking scene. Xianemo took several steps back, her mouth red. Similarly, after the shockwaves, Hua Zhongdia's right arm was covered in blood. Her physical body had gradually reached its limit. The demonic butterfly, who had unleashed all its power, had a black aura surge around it, continuously devouring the spiritual qi in the surroundings. In this shocking battle, the 2 had unleashed their full power. They had gone from being evenly matched to one side gaining the upper hand, and now, the battle was even. The only thing that remained were the injuries on their bodies that were getting heavier and heavier. I finally understand why the 13th Crown Prince's saber technique is so amazing. A great teacher produces a great disciple. Miss, your mastery of the saber has already surpassed mine. However, I cannot lose this battle. As soon as she said that, Xianmo's eyes turned cold. She stepped forward and waved her saber. In the blink of an eye, the saber light arrived. As the killing intent approached, Hua Zhongdia did not dodge. She faced it head-on. One saber was fast and the other was heavy. Each saber was merciless and deadly. As the sabers of the 2 continued to clash, waves after waves of shock waves battered the bodies of the 2. Ha! The battle cries shook the sky. The 2 peerless saber masters of the human race and the demon race did not fight because of love or hatred. They fought because they were on different sides. As the 2 clashed again and again, blood splattered from their hands that held the sabers. They were about to lose their grip on the divine weapons. Outside the battle, the kings of the 2 realms looked at the battle with grave expressions. No one had expected that this battle would be fought to such a tragic extent. Up until now, the outcome of the battle was already unknown. In the primordial demon realm camp, A dignified voice suddenly sounded in Xian Lai's ears. In the sky, the first Kunyi Demon Emperor's voice also sounded in the Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor's ears, telling them to leave the battlefield. What's wrong? Azura, who was beside Xian Lai, sensed the former's strange behavior and asked. I need to leave for a moment. This battle is over. The battle is over. Xian Lai said solemnly. Then he merged into the darkness and disappeared. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor blurted out a few words in the sky before he left the battlefield. In front of the human camp, Ning Chen frowned when he saw that one of the Demon Realm's kings was missing. Where was Xian Lai? Why had he suddenly disappeared? In the Red Luan Galaxy, a demonic aura was surging in front of the passage between the two realms. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor and Xian Lai showed up and stepped into the space passage without any hesitation. In the Primordial Demon Realm, in the Heavenly Demon Ancestral Land, First Demon Emperor Kun stood quietly with his eyes closed. He kept breaking the seal of the Sword Tao in his body. Brother! At this moment, above the Ancestral Land, demonic chi spread out. Two figures walked out and descended from the sky. Seven luminaries, you stand guard. I will pass on my power to Xian Lai. The first Kun Demon Emperor opened his eyes and said in a deep voice, The seal in my brother's body? The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor asked with a frown. That's enough. The first Kunyi Demon Emperor said slowly. I understand. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor nodded. Just as Xian Lai and the Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor returned to the Heavenly Demon Ancestral Land, the battle between the kings in the outer world was getting more intense. In the snowy land, saber chi swept across. Blood and snowflakes devoured the figures of the two kings. After a violent impact, the battle shook again. 100 feet away, the two kings stood with sabers in their hands. Blood dripped from the sabers. It was extremely eye-catching. Butterfly burial of flowers. At the end of the battle, she did not have much energy left. The butterfly in the flower spun her saber and soared into the sky. Her sleeves danced, and the saber spun in the wind. 10,000 miles of wild sand, blood splattering. In front, Xian Mo stepped forward and condensed her essence. Blood chi lingered around her and gathered into a saber. The saber split the sky open. 10,000 miles of wild sand swept across the world. It was an earth-shattering move, and the clouds in the 9 heavens changed. The kings watched as the two extreme forces collided. A dazzling brilliance spread, destroying everything in its path. Has the outcome been decided? The kings of the human and demon races watched the collapsing world in front of them nervously. They did not even dare to breathe loudly. In the sky, the snowflakes drifted away, and the two figures appeared. Suddenly, an ear-piercing crack sounded. The sabers in their hands shattered at the same time. I have lost. After saying that, Xian Mo's body fell down. Blood gushed out from her chest, dyeing the snowflakes in the sky red. On the other side, the butterfly in the flower stumbled. She was covered in blood, and her injuries were extremely heavy. However, she did not fall down. She had won. However, he had not lost. In the human race camp, Ning Chen flew out and came to the butterfly in the flower. He carefully supported the latter. Senior sister, you have worked hard. Ning Chen said softly. I did not disappoint you. The butterfly in the flower smiled weakly. However, you can only rely on yourself now. Senior sister, do not worry. Leave the rest to me. Ning Chen gently supported the woman beside him and walked toward the human race camp. Xian Azura walked up and helped the former up. She sighed, you should not have lost. Xian Mo slowly opened her eyes and said tiredly, the war has brought too many sacrifices. I am tired. Azura sighed inwardly again. She did not say anything else and helped the former walk forward. After the battle, the atmosphere became unusually quiet. Out of the 4 battles, the human race and the primitive demon realm had won twice. It was a draw. The final battle was unavoidable. The last battle was the Battle of the Palms. In the human race camp, the kings looked at knowing destiny in front of them with trust. After so many years, they had gotten used to trusting him. No matter how difficult the situation was, knowing destiny had never let them down. They saw a determination in knowing destiny that would never give up. Try harder, try harder, try harder, try harder. Maybe knowing destiny's martial arts talent was not as good as theirs, but his true combat ability was definitely terrifying. I will leave it to you. Xia Zi, who was healing in the back, opened her eyes and said. Ning Chen nodded and walked forward step by step. In the demonic realm camp, the kings of the demonic realm looked at the human race king in front of them. The 13th prince, the young man who had caused chaos in the primitive demon realm, had finally come out. In the eyes of the kings of the two realms, the black-haired figure walked into the 6 paths of reincarnation. In the thunder realm, on the sky-reaching peak, knowing destiny had appeared. In the demonic realm camp, the dark moon witch empress looked at the kings in front of her and said, "Have you decided? Who will fight this battle?" Xian Qi narrowed his eyes and looked at the man on the thunder realm's peak. He said in a low voice, "Wait." To the side, Azura looked at Luo Jia, who was not far away. He frowned slightly. According to the previous arrangement, either Xian Lai or the palace lord of the holy region would have to fight. However, Xian Lai had specifically instructed them to wait. It seemed that he had received instructions from the demon emperor. In the sky, the 3 emperors of the human race looked at the demonic realm below and frowned. Emperors of the demonic realm? Is the primitive demon realm going to forfeit this battle? The master of the godly realm asked in an old voice. The human race has been waiting for this battle for a long time. I don't think they are in a hurry. Among the 3 emperors of the demonic realm, the Scale Emperor replied coldly. Indeed, the human race is not in a hurry. However, there is always a limit to waiting. If the demonic realm's contestant does not appear, are we going to keep waiting? The blue-robed fortune teller said coldly. 24 hours. The Scale Emperor said faintly, within 24 hours, the demonic realm's choice will appear on time. In the thunder realm, on the peak, Ning Chen heard the conversation between the emperors of the 2 realms. He sat down quietly and adjusted his breath. In the camps of the 2 realms, the kings were also patient and waited quietly. What the hell is the primitive demon realm doing? Are we still fighting? Among the kings of the human race, Luo Xingchen, who could not sit still, asked impatiently. Xian Lai is not here, and Luo Jia is not fighting. Even a fool would not believe that there is no problem, Mu Qianshang said coldly. Are they cheating? Luo Xingchen asked suspiciously. The 3 emperors of the human race are also here. It is not that easy to cheat openly. However, the primitive demon realm's performance is indeed suspicious, Mu Qianshang replied. Annoying. Luo Xingchen shook his head hard. At this time, they still had to wait 24 hours. He was anxious to death. You are always so impatient. Even the knowing destiny state is not anxious. What are you anxious about? Mu Qianshang reprimanded. Knowing destiny state? Luo Xingchen looked at the black-robed figure sitting quietly in the thunder realm and said helplessly, he is an old man. He is not as energetic as us young people. Not to mention 24 hours, even if you asked him to wait for 12 years, he would still wait. So, he is standing there now, and you are nagging here, Mu Qianshang mocked. You want to fight? Luo Xingchen heard and was immediately enraged. Do you believe that I will immediately turn you into a hornet's nest? Mu Qianshang smiled indifferently and said, I don't believe you. Luo Xingchen was choked until his chest hurt. For a moment he could not say a word. Not far away, Qing Ning stood quietly. Her gaze was fixed on the knowing destiny state and did not leave for a moment. For 100 years, the reason why he worked so hard was because he did not want the people around him to be hurt. However, their enemies were getting stronger and stronger. Even if he worked hard enough, he could not protect the people around him. This time, the invasion of the primeval demon realm could be said to be a great crisis for the entire human race. When the nest is overturned, no eggs will remain intact. No matter what, the human race could not be defeated. Time flew by, and 1 hour after another passed. In the camps of the 2 realms, the kings were getting more and more impatient. 24 hours was not a long time, but the waiting time was always so long. Just at the moment when the time was up, the void above the primeval demon realm camp split open. Violent demonic chi surged, and 2 figures walked out. 7 luminaries and Xian Lai's return attracted everyone's attention. "Sorry for the long wait," Xian Lai said calmly. Then, he took a step forward and flew towards the 6 paths of reincarnation. On the peak of the Thunder Realm, Ning Chen slowly got up. He looked at the figures that appeared in front of him. His battle intent was blazing. Chapter 1280. At the peak of the Thunder Realm, when the 3rd Heavenly Demon Prince arrived, Ji Ming stood up. Demonic chi surged, and his battle intent soared. The final battle, the Battle of Palms, had finally arrived. On the peak, Xian Lai's figure descended from the sky. Demonic chi surged around him. His feet touched the ground, and the earth could not bear the demonic power. The peak rumbled and the mountains collapsed. The kings of both the human and demon camps felt the strength of the 3rd Heavenly Demon Prince's aura, and their expressions changed. "No." In the human camp, Mu Qianshang said in a deep voice, "How can Xian Lai's aura be so terrifying? Was this still the aura of a king? Even an emperor would not be so powerful. This is blatantly cheating." Luo Xingchen clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. His aura has reached the sovereign path, and his cultivation is still in the king realm. We can't say that he violated the rules. Behind him, Xia Zi stood up and stepped forward with a cold expression. "The Heavenly Demon Royal Family is willing to do anything to win this bet," the Night Lord said. "In a battle between 2 realms, nothing is too deceitful. We have underestimated them." In terms of despicableness, Ji Ming lost to them. "How infuriating," Luo Xingchen said unhappily. "Not necessarily." Mu Qianshang looked at the black-robed young man on the peak, and his expression gradually calmed down. "When have you seen Marquis Ji Ming do something without any backup plan? In terms of scheming, other than that woman who stunned the Divine Prefecture, Ji Ming has never lost to anyone." "That makes sense." Luo Xingchen raised his hand and touched his chin. Despicable and shameless, Ji Ming was his ancestor. "Don't worry and watch the battle. At this point we can only trust him," Xia Zi said in a deep voice. The kings nodded and looked forward, waiting for the battle to begin. In the primordial demon camp, Azura looked at the human kings. After a while, he said, "The human kings seem to trust this 13th son. They are not as chaotic as I thought." To be able to stir up chaos in the demon realm by himself, this boy did not rely only on luck. "His strength will probably shock everyone today," Xianqi said in a deep voice. "Let's wait and see." "This battle will forever be recorded in the annals of the 2 realms," Azura replied. In the Thunder World, there were towering mountains with towering peaks that reached the heavens. At the peak of the mountain, 2 figures stood facing each other. In the surroundings, bolts of lightning continuously rained down. Cold winds howled and 10,000 bolts of lightning fell. His cold eyes changed in an instant, and the boundless flames of war were ignited. The enmity between the 2 realms could not be erased even after thousands of years. The 2 experts fought, continuing the enmity from ancient times. When the 2 palms collided, the sky collapsed and the earth sank. Vast demonic might swept across the 9 heavens and 10 earths. A shocking battle was about to break out. The palm energy surged, and the killing intent was boundless. Bang bang! Demonic chi surged around the 2 of them like waves. Their palms were merciless, and every move they made was deadly. "Your cultivation has improved quite a bit." After exchanging several moves, Xian Lai was astonished. He used 30% of his strength to press down. "You flatter me." The 2 palms collided, and demonic energy shook the area. The moment the battle was separated, Ning Chen took a step forward, and the clouds turned into a waterfall. His wild palms blasted out, and the Milky Way of the 9 heavens hung upside down. The 12 moves of spiritual rhino reappeared, and its power shook the sky and earth, stirring up the wind and clouds. The towering waterfall roared and surged. Between heaven and earth, Thunder roared and merged into the waterfall, multiplying its power. Devouring Yang Palm. Xianlai's expression didn't change. He gathered all his energy, and demonic qi surged for 10,000 miles. The blazing demonic current refined yin and yang. He blasted out a palm, and the two extremes collided. The ground shook violently and the fog rose, blocking the vision of the two. The two closed their eyes and opened their divine senses. They rushed out, and their killing moves appeared again. In the fog, the two figures crossed each other, and the rumbling sound of the battle was endless. The foundation and cultivation collided head-on, and the stronger one was the king. Outside the battle, the kings of the human race looked more and more serious. The knowing destiny state chose to fight head-on. But Xianlai's cultivation undoubtedly had the absolute advantage. The knowing destiny state couldn't hold on for long. What is he thinking? Luo Xingchen said with a worried expression. The knowing destiny demonic body was a man of few words. Other than announcing tasks, he rarely talked to them. They knew almost nothing about his thoughts. Trust him. This is the only thing we can do now. On the side, Mu Qianshang looked at the battle ahead and said, in the primordial demon realm camp, Azura, Xian Qi, Luo Jia, and the others looked at the battle ahead with doubts. In the previous battles, because of the disadvantage of their cultivation, the human race cultivators would more or less choose to prolong the battle. Only this 13th son went all out and fought head-on. Wasn't he worried that his body would gradually collapse? Just as the kings of the two realms were puzzled, the battle between the two demons had reached its climax. Their palms collided ruthlessly. The first palm of the demon race and the head of the human race's underworld, the two peerless cultivators each displayed their shocking abilities. Great! After 30 moves, the battle was tied. Xianlai's eyes shone brightly, and his fighting spirit grew stronger. Is this enough to make you excited? The palms collided, and the mountains collapsed. Ningchen snorted and stomped again. Giant dragons roared out from the ground. Xianlai's expression froze. What is this? 8 dragons against the world, and the divergent yellow secret technique reappeared. Dragons roared around Ningchen, and the spiritual qi of heaven and earth gathered to support his knowing destiny physique. The divergent yellow secret technique? In the void, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor looked down with a cold expression. A peerless genius. Beside him, the Lord of the Sacred Region sighed softly. This kid surprises us again and again. I wonder where his bottom line is? So, this battle will prove his true strength, the Lord of the Divine Capital Yulou said in a deep voice. No matter the result of this battle, we can't let this kid live, the Scale Emperor said coldly. A young man with such shocking growth speed would definitely become a great threat to the 100 races in the future. He must be eliminated as soon as possible. Have you found out his identity? The Scale Emperor looked at the Demon Emperor beside him and asked. There are many legends about this kid in the human race, but very few people know about his origin. Rumor has it that he came from the Black Sect of the Red Phoenix Galaxy. However, this sect has been destroyed for a long time, and no one survived, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor said. Hearing this, the Scale Emperor frowned slightly. This 13th son was really cautious. He didn't want to leave any traces behind. In the primordial demon realm, in the 3 imperial city, in the 9 underworld king's palace, a peerless demonic figure stood quietly. In front of him, the sky was vaguely visible, and it reflected the battle between the 2 outer demons. The intensity of the battle was comparable to the battle between emperors. After the first Kunyi Demon Emperor's teachings, Xianlai's cultivation had improved by half a step. The strength of his aura was no weaker than an emperor's. After a long while, Xian Jiuyo's figure faded and disappeared in the palace. In the outer sky, the thunder tribulation and the shocking battle on the peak was getting more and more shocking. 8 dragons appeared, and Ning Chen's aura multiplied. Demonic qi surged and covered the sky. Opposite him, Xianlai focused and shouted. He activated his cultivation technique again, and his demonic qi soared into the sky, splitting heaven and earth. Chaos demonic qi? In the sky, the 3 emperors of the demonic realm were shocked. In this world, only the first Kunyi demon emperor could control chaos demonic chi. It was really shocking that Xianlai could control such power. On the side, the 7 luminaries demon emperor looked serious. The power of chaos demonic chi was not something that ordinary people could withstand. Even with Xianlai's royal bloodline, he couldn't sustain it for a long time. Therefore, this battle had to be ended quickly. In the battle, Ningchen looked at the chaos demonic chi surging around Xianlai. He wasn't too surprised. Xianlai had used chaos demonic chi once to help the ghost race migrate. It must have been just an experiment. 7 changes of the heavenly demon, royal sky dome. On the peak, the two spoke at the same time. The 9 changes of the heavenly demon reappeared in the world. The rumbling shook the thunder tribulation, and 2 huge demonic figures rose from the ground. The heavenly demon arcane art changed the color of the sky. The 2 demonic figures punched down and clashed for the first time. Below, the 2 demonic figures moved at the same time. Demonic chi surged, and a dragon roared. The horrifying power clashed head-on. A horrifying tremor resounded, and the peak collapsed. Rocks flew everywhere and fell like rain. Amidst the rain of rocks, the 2 figures continued to exchange blows. The attack and defense were intense. With a rumble, a heavy palm landed. The palm energy surged, and the 2 retreated 10 steps each. Blood flowed out, dyeing their clothes red. The 2 were injured at the same time. It was hard to tell who was stronger. The battle of the strongest surpassed the previous 4 battles. The kings of the 2 realms watched the battle intently. It turned out that there was such a peak above the King Dao. 9 heavens star-picking hand, rising rain. At the critical moment of the battle, Ning Chen gathered energy in his left palm. The Qilin's ultimate technique appeared. Boundless energy swept through the world. 12 moves of the spiritual rhino, 100 tides setting the sky. After one move appeared, another moved. Ning Chen was multitasking. He flipped his right palm. Instantly, a raging wave drowned the world. 2 extremes flowed at the same time. An unprecedented power shook the world. The horrifying power of the chaos demonic chi swept out. In front, Xianlai narrowed his eyes. Demonic chi soared into the sky. He opened and closed his palms. Boundless chaos demonic chi rose. In an instant, dark thunder rumbled and everything changed. Sky-devouring palm. A move that had never appeared in the world to deal with the strongest enemy in this life. Xianlai condensed the power of the thunder demonic chi and merged it with the chaos demonic chi. The kings watched. In the thunder world, the 2 forces collided. Silence. After a moment of silence, an incomparably horrifying explosion sounded. The terrifying aftershock spread out, and the entire thunder world collapsed. The laws of heaven and earth flooded the small world. The power spread out, destroying everything around. Boom. After the thunder world collapsed, the aftershock of the 2 forces was still difficult to dissipate. It continued to spread. In the blink of an eye, it swallowed the entire 6 paths of reincarnation. In the starry sky, the aftershock dissipated. 2 figures appeared. Their clothes were dyed red. However, their auras were still shockingly powerful. Outside the battle, the kings looked at the scene in front of them in shock. These 2 demons are really terrifying. Luo Xingchen suppressed the waves in his heart. He looked serious and said in a low voice. Chapter 1281. In the starry sky, the flames of war burned for thousands of miles. The battle of the century shocked all the kings. Its power destroyed the heavens and the earth, shattering the 6 paths. In the fierce battle, the 2 demons were stained red, but their fighting spirit was still high. Outside the battle, the kings of the 2 realms were watching this shocking battle with rapt attention. The ripples in their eyes could not be concealed. Again! In the starry sky, Xianlai shouted. The chaotic demonic aura around him rose again, triggering the wind and thunder of the 9 heavens. In front of him, Ning Chen stared. 8 dragons roared and circled around him amidst the raging winds. 9 heavens star-picking hand, burning sun. The battle started again. The Qilin moved the world. Ningchen rushed out and moved the stars with his palms. In an instant, the two demons collided. Their palms collided and the sound was deafening. Boom, boom. Their fists crossed and sweat dripped. They faced the two demons in a life-and-death battle. Their fists and feet seemed casual, but in fact, it was a battle of life and death. Ningchen saw this and raised his hand to gather his primordial aura to meet the attack head-on. As their fists and feet collided, both of them took half a step back. They gathered their primordial aura and clashed again. The rumbling sound was endless. Close at hand, the fists and palms roared like thunder. Ah! Suddenly, Ningchen stumbled, and a flaw appeared. A heavy palm landed on his body. With a bang, red blood splattered. Ningchen flew out 100 feet, and blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. Not good. On the human clan's side, the expressions of the human clan's lords changed. They looked at Knowing Destiny in front of them with worry. Knowing Destiny's body was starting to falter. The aura of the third heavenly demon prince was comparable to that of the imperial path. It was shocking that Knowing Destiny could hold on until now. The chaotic demonic aura is so strong. Xianlai's body will not be able to hold on for long. As long as Knowing Destiny can hold on through this most difficult moment, they will have a chance of winning, Xia Zi said. I'm just afraid that Knowing Destiny's body will not be able to hold on until then, Mu Qianshang said. So, the next 15 minutes will be the most critical moment. As he spoke, Xia Zi's face turned serious. He didn't know why the Knowing Destiny state would choose such a fierce battle strategy, but there was no doubt that the next 15 minutes would determine the outcome of the battle. In the starry sky, Knowing Destiny took a hit from Yi Futian. The stalemate began to tilt. Xianlai's figure flashed past, and he increased his attacks. He wanted to finish off his opponent in one go. The berserk demonic yuan surged, causing the stars in the sky to lose their color. Wherever the primal chaos demonic chi passed, nothing existed. Palm after palm bombardment, the momentum was as heavy as a mountain. The first palm of the demon race was raised to the limit. The power of the palm was shocking. Boom! The heavy palm landed, and the 8 dragons protected their master. Amidst the shocking tremors, the 3 dragons collapsed. The shock waves spread out, and the battle was once again separated. 10 zhang away, Ningchen stood in the air. Drops of blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. His injuries accumulated, and his body gradually reached its limit. Time to end this. Xianlai snorted coldly as he flipped his right palm. Dense devil chi soared into the sky, causing the heavens and earth to change. The decisive battle was about to begin. Up ahead, Ningchen's expression did not change at all. His eyes were fixed on the third heavenly demon prince. Giant dragons coiled around him, protecting his vitals. Ha! Xianlai shouted as he stepped forward. His figure flashed quickly, and his demonic chi shook the mortal world. Immortal technique, shocking rainbow. At the critical moment, Ningchen raised his right hand. Between the heavens and the earth, a rainbow pierced through the sky. The immortal technique of the Mahist sect appeared again after 100 years. Immortal technique and demonic chi collided. Primal chaos demonic chi swallowed the rainbow. Xianlai's figure paused for a moment, but after a moment, he continued to move forward. Immortal technique, waning moons. Ningchen stepped forward lightly as the immortal technique condensed in front of him. A black moon appeared and swallowed the opponent. With a boom, the palm hit Ningchen's body. Ningchen's figure flew back 100 zhang. He staggered and stabilized his footing. He spat out a mouthful of blood. He was severely injured again. In front, the black moon changed around Xianlai. The laws of heaven and earth tore the demon's body apart. Ugh! The primal chaos demonic chi around Xianlai could not block the power of the immortal technique. Immediately, blood spurted out like a waterfall, and he staggered a few steps. After a moment, Xianlai raised his hand to suppress the injuries in his body. He looked at the young man in front of him gloomily and said coldly, "One move after another. How many moves can you take?" Immortal technique. Opposite him, Ningchen did not say a word. He suppressed his injuries and flipped his hands. The sun and the moon appeared at the same time and rose up. Sun and moon over the sky. The sun and the moon were in the sky. It was a shocking scene. The knowing destiny cultivator used his immortal technique again. The entire starry sky shook violently. Demonic chi filled the air. It was as heavy as a swamp. Primal chaos, demonic thunder. The power of the immortal technique was earth-shattering. Xian Lai's expression turned cold. He activated his primal chaos demonic chi at the same time. The dazzling black lightning swallowed the heavens and destroyed the earth. Wherever the lightning passed, everything turned into nothingness. In the next moment, the primal chaos demonic thunder collided with the sun and the moon. The violent impact spread out. The primal chaos demonic thunder destroyed the sun and the moon and continued forward. The demonic chi approached. Ningchen turned his feet and his figure flashed. He dodged one lightning after another. After several rounds of attack and defense, it was still very intense. The two of them were top-notch in terms of cultivation and battle experience. There were almost no flaws in their moves. Too strong. Outside the battle, the kings of the two realms were deeply moved. This last battle was so intense that it was suffocating. Whether it was the human race or the demonic realm, the two kings had displayed combat power that surpassed the king realm. Their strength was unbelievable. It's really unbelievable that they are at a disadvantage, Luo Xingchen said. Only the first Kunyi demon emperor has the primal chaos demonic essence. The knowing destiny cultivator said that the first Kunyi demon emperor's strength is not below that of an ancient immortal lord. Xian Lai has received the first Kunyi demon emperor's power. He is probably close to the true emperor realm, Mu Qianshang said with a heavy expression. He was still in the king realm, but the strength of his aura had already surpassed that of an emperor realm. This battle was not fair to begin with. On the side, Xia Zi watched the battle in front of him with full concentration, patiently waiting for the final moment to arrive. He believed that the extreme move would definitely hurt him. The third heavenly demon prince could not maintain such a shocking aura forever. Just as the human kings were worried about the knowing destiny cultivator, Azura, Xian Qi, and the others were watching the battle in front of them. Their expressions were also very serious. Even though they knew that the 13th prince's strength was shocking, it was still beyond their expectations that he could fight Xian Lai, who had the primal chaos demonic essence, to such an extent. Xian Lai's physical body is probably at its limit. If we can't end this quickly, it will be even more difficult to predict the outcome, Azura said with a frown. 10 moves, Xian Qi said in a deep voice. Both of them have reached their limits. They can't hold on for too long. Within 10 moves, the outcome will be decided. What do you think Xian Lai's chances of winning are? Azura asked. Before 5 moves, Xian Lai has at least a 70% chance of winning. But after 5 moves, Xian Lai's chances of winning will drop sharply. He might even lose, Xian Qi analyzed calmly. Azura nodded. He thought so too. The primal chaos demonic essence was too overbearing. Xian Lai's physical body could not hold on for too long. The next 5 moves would be Xian Lai's best chance to win. The kings watched. The final battle had reached its most critical moment. In the starry sky, demonic chi swirled, shaking the heavens and the earth. The two demonic chi clashed. Each punch was heavier than the last. The foundation of their martial arts and battle experience competed head-on. Heavy punches landed on their bodies. Sweat and blood splashed. Both of their physical bodies had reached their limits. Willpower and patience became a new test. 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves. Heavy breathing echoed in the ears. The scale of victory tilted again. Outside the battle, the kings of the two realms looked at the battle seriously. They knew clearly that the outcome could be decided at any moment. 9 heavens star picking hand, jade-like rain floating. In the starry sky, the extreme power appeared again. Demonic chi surged and turned into black rain falling from the sky. The earth-shaking power reached its peak again. Mountain. The extreme power arrived. Xian Lai's eyes shone brightly. His primal chaos demonic essence soared into the sky. The martial arts that had never appeared in the world finally appeared at this moment. Transcendence. Wind, forest, fire, mountain formula appeared. Absolute defense, immovable as a mountain, blocked the incoming attack head-on. With a boom, the attack and defense clashed. A powerful shockwave shook, shattering the void. The shockwave spread out. Xian Lai retreated half a step. Blood splashed from the corner of his mouth. His demonic qi showed signs of instability. Forest. While his body was unstable, Xian Lai used the forest formula. His surging blood qi gradually stabilized. Wind. The moment of victory had arrived. Xian Lai no longer cared about the endurance of his physical body. His figure flashed out as fast as lightning. Fire. In the blink of an eye, the demon closed in. His palms struck out like fire. Wind, forest, fire, mountain. So, he has already cultivated it. In the demon camp, Xian Qi looked at the battle before him. His eyes flashed. Wind, forest, fire, mountain, a secret technique of the demon race. The 4 words represented the power of 4 different elements. Immovable as a mountain, aggressive as fire, swift as the wind, and slow as a forest. It was an offensive and defensive technique. It was extremely difficult to cultivate, but once it was cultivated, one's strength would undoubtedly multiply. In the starry sky, the demon palm closed in. At this moment of crisis, demonic qi shot out from Ning Chen's body. Thousands of threads twisted and spread, forming a barrier in front of him. The imperial technique, born from the scale race's absolute defense, reappeared in the world. The attack and defense clashed again. Rumbling sounds reverberated through the universe. The aftershock caused both of them to bleed. As the distance closed, the opportunity was fleeting. Ning Chen's eyes shone brightly. He poured all of his demonic qi into the last palm. The 9 underworlds technique was pushed to the limit. The accumulation of power shocked the gods of the 9 skies. Star-picking hand's final move, reverse formless move. The final move destroyed the heavens and earth. Everything in the path of the palm was destroyed. Mountain. In the final attack and defense, Xian Lai also used all of his power. He was as immovable as a mountain, blocking the attack head-on. The extreme power was dazzling. Victory and defeat were decided immediately. Suddenly, a waterfall of blood spurted out, dyeing the starry sky red. The sudden change shocked everyone present. The kings of the 2 territories looked at Xian Lai, who was covered in blood, in shock. What happened? In the blink of an eye, Ning Chen's figure flashed past. An extremely powerful palm imprinted on the demon's sea of qi. The Qilin's ultimate move, scattered martial art. The shocking palm directly shattered Xian Lai's sea of qi, destroying the demon's cultivation. Arg! An extremely painful groan sounded. Demonic qi surged around Xian Lai and spread in all directions. Chapter 1282. In the starry sky, the final round of the battle between the 2 realms was about to be decided. At the critical moment, blood spurted out from Xian Lai's body. He was as still as a mountain, but his weakness was exposed. In an instant, Ning Chen's figure flashed past, and an earth-shattering palm directly destroyed the demon's sea of qi. It was a shocking scene. Demonic qi scattered around Xian Lai, and his 1,000 years of cultivation was destroyed in an instant. How is this possible? Inside and outside the battlefield, Xian Lai, Xian Qi, Azura, and the others were all shocked. No one knew what had just happened. In the human camp, the beast kings were also shocked. They didn't understand why the battle had suddenly turned around. Heavenly talisman. At the side, Qing Ning opened her mouth and said softly. Luo Xingchen, Mu Qianshang, and the others were confused. Heavenly talisman? What was that? In the void, the moment the battle was decided, the 4 emperors of the demonic realm looked extremely gloomy. They didn't expect the result to be like this. In the battle, Azura's figure flashed and carried the severely injured Xian Lai out of the battlefield. Humans, you've really impressed us. The 4 emperors of the demonic realm descended and looked at the beast kings in front of them. On the right, the lord of the divine capital, Yulu, said lightly. You're too kind. I hope the emperors can keep their promise and stop fighting. In front of the beast kings of the human race, the 3 emperors of the human race also descended from the sky. 10 years. The 7 brilliance demon emperor's face turned cold. Cherish your last moments. We'll meet again. As soon as he finished speaking, air currents surged around the 4 emperors. In an instant, the 4 emperors faded into the void and disappeared. In the starry sky, Azura, Xianqi, and the others also left. They didn't stay for a moment longer. The soul-stirring gamble ended with the victory of the human clan. This unprecedented gamble had earned the human clan 10 years of precious time. The leader of the 3 emperors of the human race, the Lord of the Divine Realm, looked at the black-robed young man not far away and said seriously, "You've worked hard." Ning Chen resisted the demonic chi in his body and nodded slightly. He looked tired and said, "The underworld won't attack again in 10 years. The peace of the major star zones will depend on the immortal realm to maintain." "It's my duty." The master of the realm of the gods nodded and said, "The netherworld has sacrificed a lot in this battle. Please rest well for the next 10 years. The kings of the underworld nodded. Not long after, Jiming took the lead and left one after another. In the void, the 3 sovereigns of the human clan also left and returned to the divine realm. The experts of the 2 realms left. On the battlefield, the heavens and earth shook for a long time. As far as the eye could see, the sky was filled with rubble. It was a scene of devastation. In the Ziwei galaxy, between 2 huge stars, the kings of the underworld appeared and descended from the sky. In front of the 10 palaces, the human experts who had stayed behind to guard the 10 palaces walked out and greeted them. "Master!" Ran forward excitedly, hugged the man's arm, and asked, "Did you win?" "We won." Ning Chen smiled tiredly and replied. When heard this, her face immediately lit up with joy. She said happily, "Master is really amazing." Your master is injured. Let's let him go in to recuperate first." Qin Ning said softly. Only then did react and hurriedly nod. Z and House Master's injuries are also not light. Li Hongwan, I'll have to trouble you too. Ning Chen looked at the 2 women not far away and spoke. Lufei and Hongwan nodded. They supported the 2 of them and walked towards their respective palaces. Just as the kings of the underworld returned to their palaces one after another, demonic aura surged in the sky above the underworld. An incomparably powerful pressure spread out. The strength of the aura surpassed all the kings in the mortal realm. Even ordinary emperors were inferior to it. In the underworld, the kings who had yet to enter their palaces felt it. Their faces were filled with shock as they looked at the sky in unison. Above the 9 heavens, demonic clouds swept across. An incomparably powerful imperial aura filled the entire underworld, shocking everyone. This is? The kings of the underworld were shocked. An emperor of the demon race. The primordial demon realm had promised to stop fighting for 10 years. Why would an emperor of the demon race appear? Could it be that the heavenly demon race was not afraid of divine punishment? Under the gazes of the kings, an unparalleled demonic figure descended from the sky. His body was surrounded by demonic aura, blazing and dazzling. In front of the King Yama Palace, Ning Chen looked at the newcomer with a shocked expression. He immediately pulled his arm away from Yiner's support and walked forward step by step. Disciple Ning Chen greets Master. Knowing Destiny bowed with a rare respectful attitude. In front of his master, even if he was a demon, he could not forget his master. "I saw your battle. Not bad." Amidst the surging demonic aura, Xian Jiuyo spoke with a gratified expression. He was very satisfied with this disciple. Whether it was in terms of wisdom or comprehension, he was rare in the world. As for martial arts talent, it was no longer a decisive factor. "Thank you for your praise, Master," Ning Chen replied softly. In front of the 10 palaces of the underworld, the kings of the human race recovered from their shock. They looked at each other, unable to hide the shock in their eyes. Knowing Destiny's master, the legendary heavenly demon royal family's Xian Jiuyo. Behind them, looked at the demonic emperor of the underworld in front of her. Fear flashed across her beautiful little face. Master's master? In front, Ningchen turned around and looked at the girl behind him. He said, "Come and greet your grandmaster." Hearing this, obediently went forward and bowed respectfully. She said, "Grand disciple greets grandmaster." In the void, Xian Juyo looked at the girl in front of him with a gentle expression. He praised, "Good child. It seems that your master has put in a lot of effort to nurture you." Quietly raised her head and looked at her master beside her. Then she lowered her head again. Xian Juyo raised his hand. Demonic qi surged, and an unparalleled surge of energy flowed into the girl's body. As the demonic qi entered her body, Er's body shook. She closed her eyes and focused on integrating this pure energy. After a while, in the void, Xian Juyo retracted his hand and smiled. "I can feel that there are still 2 streams of clear saint force in your body. This demonic source is the purest energy and does not have any negative attributes. It will not conflict with the energy in your body and will not make you lose your mind. Consider this my gift to you." "Thank you, Grandmaster." After a few breaths, opened her eyes and said with a smile on her little face. In front of the palaces, the kings looked at this scene with indescribable helplessness in their hearts. They had watched grow up. Putting everything else aside, just her luck alone was not something that anyone else could compare to. The heavenly language origin, the phoenix origin, and the demonic source of the netherworld demon emperor. It would be amazing for an ordinary martial artist to obtain one of them, but this girl had mastered 3 of them. Comparisons are odious. In front of King Qingguang Palace, Luo Xingchen muttered softly. In the void, Xian Juyo glanced at the human kings in front of the palaces and nodded slightly. Not bad. In front of the palaces, the kings of the underworld sensed the gaze of the demon emperor in front of them, and their bodies trembled subconsciously. This demon emperor of the netherworld gave them too much pressure, and he was even more powerful than any human or demon emperor before. Is this the legend of the heavenly devil imperial family? He does indeed have legendary strength. If this person stood on the opposite side of the humans would really have no chance. "Ningchen, how long have you been my disciple?" Xian Juyo retracted his gaze and asked calmly. "Almost 10 years, Ningchen said truthfully. "Has it been that long?" Xian Juyo's eyes flashed with vicissitudes. Demonic qi surged around his body and entered Ningchen's body to help him suppress his injuries. "Come, show me all your strength and let Master witness your current ability." There was a hint of anticipation in his calm voice. It was as if the most ordinary master and disciple in the world wanted to personally test their disciple's growth. "Yes." In the demonic qi, Ningchen nodded and responded respectfully. In the next moment, demonic qi flourished in front of the 10 palaces of the netherworld. A small world was formed within a 300-meter radius. In the battle between the master and disciple, one side's cultivation realm was absolutely suppressed and invincible, while the other side's saber, sword, and palm were close to mastery. The 3 martial arts were unparalleled. Within a 300-meter radius, the surging demonic qi suppressed all the fluctuations of the battle. Ningchen, who had used all his strength, was surrounded by blazing flames of war that shone like a demonic sun. One move, 2 moves. There was no doubt about the outcome of the battle. Xian Juyo deliberately guided him. The moment he attacked, he restrained most of his power and seriously tested his disciple's growth over the years. After 30 moves, Xian Juyo raised his hand. Demonic qi surged and blocked the sword that was close to him. He said calmly, "That's enough." Hearing this, the demonic qi around Ningchen's body gradually extinguished. He waved his hand and put away the saber and sword in his hand. His eyes gradually regained their calmness. "With your current strength, even if you face an Emperor Realm expert, you won't be completely powerless. However, the premise is that the person who attacked you is not my brother," Xian Juyo said seriously. "The first Kunyi Demon Emperor?" Ningchen's expression froze. He had not thought of a good way to deal with this celestial demon emperor. In front of absolute strength, even the most ingenious plan would be overshadowed. Fortunately, the first Kunyi Demon Emperor's cultivation realm was temporarily sealed by the senior. He should not be able to cause trouble for the time being. Alright, I've been away for too long. It's time to go back. I won't interfere in the war against the humans, but I won't help the humans either. Everything will depend on your own efforts. As he spoke, demonic chi surged in the void. Xian Jiuyo's figure gradually turned illusory and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Farewell, master. Ningchen bowed and said softly. After the 9th Underworld Demon Emperor left, the powerful imperial aura that filled the sky dissipated. In front of the 10 halls, the kings of the underworld heaved a sigh of relief. This demon emperor was too terrifying. In front of the king of Hell's palace, Ningchen straightened up. After standing quietly for a while, he turned around and walked toward the palace behind him. In an unknown territory, the wind howled and flames filled the sky. In the forbidden land of wind and fire, a beautiful figure was stuck in a dilemma. She had been trapped for a long time. The woman's face was delicate and her eyes were as clear as water. She looked incomparably clean. She was a man who had been away for a long time. Ningchen, I can't get out. After trying many times, she still could not get out of the forbidden land in front of her. A man curled her lips and muttered. In the underworld, in the king of Hell's palace, Ningchen, who was healing in seclusion, suddenly opened his eyes. He looked into the distance, and his heart palpitated. It was a man. Not daring to delay, Ningchen immediately got up and walked out of the palace. In King Biancheng's palace not far away, Qing Ning sensed something. She looked at King of Hell's palace and asked, "What's the matter?" "A man is calling me," Ningchen said seriously. Chapter 1283. The black-clothed figure flew through the starry sky. Ningchen's telepathy became clearer. The original body had fallen and the phoenix body was in a deep slumber. Of the 3 bodies, only the demon body was left. It shouldered all the responsibilities by itself. After traveling for many days, Ningchen stopped in an unknown place. He looked at the lifeless planet in front of him. A strange light flashed in his eyes. Strange. Why would man be in such a place? In front of him, the giant dead planet floated in the starry sky. There was no sign of life. It was like a world that had gone through the end of the world. All the creatures had died. Ningchen stood quietly in the starry sky for a while. Then, his figure flashed and flew toward the dead planet. After a few breaths, Ningchen appeared on the dead planet. Demonic chi surged. "Man," Ningchen murmured softly. His deep eyes lit up. No matter what, nothing could happen to man otherwise. Even if the phoenix body and the original body woke up, they would regret it for the rest of their lives. In the knowing destiny state, they didn't want to have any regrets. On the dead planet, broken walls were everywhere. After the erosion of time, it was a mess. In the real world of death, there wasn't even a living tree. It was hot and dry. The harsh and depressing environment was unbearable. Ningchen walked among the broken walls. He released his soul consciousness to search for man's traces. He could feel that man was on this planet, but he couldn't sense his specific location. The planet was very vast. Ningchen searched for almost a day but still couldn't find any trace of man. Ningchen felt uneasy. He clenched his right hand. Demonic chi surged. A divine sword surrounded by ghost chi appeared out of nowhere. Ningchen grabbed the ghost sword and stabbed it into the ground. Sword chi pierced through the sky. The shocking sword made the entire dead planet shake. A terrifying crack appeared on the ground. It spread horizontally and vertically, almost splitting the dead planet into 2. However, just as the dead planet was about to collapse, a terrifying force exploded from the core of the planet. It forcefully blocked the sword chi and stabilized the collapsing planet. Found him. Ningchen sensed something. His expression turned serious as he looked at the bottom of the giant crack. Then, he leaped into the air and headed toward the center of the Earth. Deep inside the Earth's core, the Earth fire seethed. The Earth fire terminal vein that had been nurtured for tens of thousands of years was like a giant dragon coiling around the Earth's core. It was strong and scorching. Not long after, Ning Chen's figure descended from the sky above the surging earth fire. Demonic chi swirled around his body, making him look like a god of war. Above the earth fire, waves of fire swept out. The terrifying temperature scorched the world, and even the void started to distort violently. The demonic aura around Ning Chen grew thicker and thicker, resisting the high temperature. After standing still for a long time, the ghost sword in Ning Chen's hand glowed brightly again. With a swing of the sword, it split open the sea of earth fire. Rumbling sounds rang out, and the sea of earthen flames split apart. It was an astonishing scene. The waterfall of flames rose up tens of thousands of zhang, welcoming the arrival of the swordsman. Ning Chen's figure descended from the sky and disappeared into the sea of earth fire in an instant. In the next moment, the two fiery waterfalls merged together, and the earth-fire ocean returned to its original state without any changes. In the depths of the earth's core, Ning Chen's figure was rushing downwards. All of a sudden, he came to a halt. A huge stone door appeared in front of them. Cracks covered the stone door, and it was filled with the aura of time. Ning Chen frowned. After a long time, he stepped forward and pushed the stone door. The heavy stone door didn't budge at all. Ning Chen tried several times and didn't waste any more time. With a wave of his hand, the green cauldron appeared. Ning Chen used the flying swan art and smashed it towards the stone door. Boom! An earth-shattering collision sound rang out, and the entire underground world began to shake violently as waves of fire soared into the sky. Boom! Boom after boom rang out. Ning Chen stood in front of the stone door, and the green cauldron in his hand continuously smashed the stone door in front of him. His cold and focused expression didn't change at all. In the depths of the forbidden area, flames filled the sky. A man, who had been trapped for many days, felt the shaking of the world around him and revealed a joyful expression. He's here. Boom! 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 In the sea of earthen flames, Ning Chen violently smashed the stone door in front of him with the green cauldron. In an hour, he had already smashed it countless times. The hardness of the stone door was shocking. After smashing it for an entire hour, there were only a few more cracks on the stone door. There was no impatience on Ning Chen's face. He still waved the green cauldron in his hand and smashed it towards the stone door like a machine. In the depths of the forbidden area, a man quietly felt the shaking of the world. The smile on her face became brighter and brighter. She knew that he would definitely come, and he really did come. 6 hours later, in the sea of earthen flames, the green cauldron was the last one to smash the stone door. With a loud bang, the stone door collapsed. The giant stone door that had existed for thousands of years finally collapsed under the 6 hours of Knowing Destiny State's crazy bombardment. It fell into the sea of earthen flames. After the stone of isolation was broken, Ning Chen waved his hand and put away the green cauldron. He continued to walk forward. As Ning Chen went deeper into the underground world, the surroundings gradually changed and formed a small world of its own. The telepathy between them became clearer and clearer, indicating that they weren't far away from each other. Ning Chen released his spiritual sense to guard against all possible dangers around him. This kind of small world could only be opened by experts who were at least above the imperial path. It wasn't strange for anything to happen if he entered without permission. Whoosh! Right at this moment, streaks of sword chi tore through the air in the surroundings. There was no sign, no beginning, and no end. Seeing this, Ning Chen's expression became serious. He stepped forward and walked into it. Thousands of swords formed a huge sword array, directly trapping the intruder. He couldn't even take half a step forward. Within the sword array, Ning Chen looked at the thousands of swords circling around him. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Sword array. He really didn't expect that one day, he would be trapped by swords. Ning Chen raised his hand and held the sword. His body moved instantly. In an instant, the ghost sword broke through the air and the sword chi was thousands of feet long. With a loud bang, the ghost sword shook the thousands of swords. A violent vibration sounded. 30% of the swords collapsed, but in an instant, they recovered to their original state. Streaks of sword chi rushed forward and attacked fiercely. Ningchen stepped forward and instantly dodged the streaks of sword chi. At the same time, the ghost sword in his hand turned and the sword chi rushed into the sky. Sword. 11. With one sword, 11 swords broke through the air. In an instant, the thousands of swords collided with the thousands of swords. Clang, clang, clang. The thousands of swords collided and the sound of collision was deafening. In the sword array, after the thousands of swords were destroyed, they immediately recovered. They were endless and full of murderous intent. Sword. 12. When the 11th sword fell, the 12th sword appeared. It surpassed the limit. The beautiful sword directly cut through the thousands of swords, and it was clear again. Between heaven and earth, the thousands of sword fragments fell like rain. The moment they fell to the ground, they disappeared. Ningchen walked in the rain of swords. Sword chi rose from his body. He was like a sword immortal. In the depths of the forbidden area, a man felt the shocking sword chi in the distance and became more and more excited. His sword was more powerful than before. Thousands of miles away, Ningchen walked forward step by step. Alone, with one sword, even the god of death couldn't stop him. After the sword array, the giant flame god, heavenly soldiers, and Hell's Azura appeared one after another. However, how could knowing destiny's sword be stopped by evil? Behind knowing destiny, fire rain filled the sky. With one sword in hand, he killed all enemies. Similar, too similar. A soft sigh sounded between heaven and earth. It was so old and so heavy. Ningchen stopped and raised his head. Looking at the changing wind and clouds in the sky, his expression turned cold. "What's your name?" The old voice asked again. "Ningchen." Ningchen said faintly. "Ningchen." The old voice whispered softly and said disappointedly, "You're not him." "That's right, he's already dead." "Senior, I didn't mean to offend you. It's just that I have a friend trapped here. I hope you can be merciful and let her out." Ningchen said calmly. "Friend, are you talking about the girl inside?" The old voice said, "The one who trapped her is not me. The owner of this place is someone else." Ningchen heard this and narrowed his eyes. "May I ask who the owner of this place is?" "Ancient god fiend, Xingjiang." The old voice replied. "Xingjiang?" Ningchen frowned. He had never heard of this name. Logically speaking, such an ancient powerhouse should have left behind many legends. Besides, what kind of existence was the ancient god fiend? "May I know Senior's name? May I ask?" Ningchen asked with a straight face. The old voice sighed softly and said, "I'm Immortal Lord Qingyu, a person who died many years ago. I don't know if anyone still remembers me." Immortal Lord Qingyu. Ningchen heard this name and was shocked. The first immortal lord under the Queen Mother of the West, Qingyu? How could it be? It was rumored that immortal Lord Qingyu died in the war between the two realms in ancient times. Why would he appear here? It seems that someone has heard of this immortal lord's name. Forget it, it's all in the past. It's not important. You can go. That girl is trapped in the deepest part of the forbidden area. However, her life is not in danger. After speaking, the wind and clouds in the sky dispersed. Immortal Lord Qingyu's voice also disappeared. He didn't say another word. In the small world, Ningchen suppressed the waves in his heart and walked forward. Immortal Lord Qingyu. After so many years, this was the first time he came into contact with an immortal lord from the 4 great immortal realms. Immortal Lord Qingyu was the leader of the 5 great immortal lords in the Western Immortal Realm. His strength was unfathomable and was even above Demon Emperor Kun Yi. He didn't expect to meet him here. However, what did Immortal Lord Qingyu mean by someone who died? Ancient God Fiend, Xingjiang. Ancient Immortal Lord, Qingyu. Ningchen murmured a few times. Between God Fiend and Immortal Lord, who was stronger? After thinking for a moment, Ningchen suppressed the waves in his heart and continued walking forward. It was useless to think about this now. His most important task now was to save Ah Man as soon as possible. After walking for 100 miles, the world changed again. The earth rumbled and 4 stone giants rose from the ground. Chapter 1284. In the depths of the Earth's core, a man had been trapped in the forbidden land of fiend gods for an unknown amount of time. Every step in the forbidden land was filled with danger. Every step was difficult to stop. After moving forward for a long time, danger reappeared. For earth and stone giants rose from the ground. After countless years, they gradually gained consciousness. Ningchen stopped. Looking at the 4 earth and stone giants, his eyes turned cold. The 6 paths of reincarnation rose again. The ghost race's saint artifact hummed, and sword pressure swept out. Roar! The 4 earth stone giants roared and punched the knowing destiny state cultivators in front of them. Sword technique, sky-breaking. Ningchen waved his sword, and a huge sword chi cut through the void, splitting the sky and earth. With a rumble, the sword chi and the giant fist collided. The sword chi collapsed, and in the aftermath, Ningchen moved. He clenched his left hand, and the divine artifact, Heavenly Song Cold Tower, shone. The sword and saber were both drawn, and their sharpness shone. Ningchen stepped forward and leaped up. Ultimate technique of heaven and earth, sword and saber boundary. Extreme power appeared, and the sword and saber hummed together. 2 shocking rays of light cut through the void, and directly cut one of the earth and stone giants in half. With one of the 4 missing, the encirclement was broken. Ningchen's body moved faster, and he didn't continue to fight. He quickly left the battle. 100 miles away, Ningchen slowed down. Before he could catch his breath, the surrounding world changed again. Flames rose up in the sky, and heat waves swept out. A wide path appeared in the flames, extending to an extremely far place. The only way forward was not to be chosen. Ningchen frowned. Looking at the flames around him, he became more and more alert. This place was strange. If it was really a small world created by the ancient fiend gods, there would be more danger. Why was a man trapped here? After thinking for a while, Ningchen didn't delay any longer. He rushed forward. 10 miles, 100 miles. After an unknown amount of time, a stone door appeared in front of him again. However, this time, the stone door was slightly open, enough for people to pass through. Ningchen stopped and looked behind the stone door. There was only chaos in front of him, and he couldn't see anything. Behind him, the flames sealed the path. There was no way back. Only by moving forward could he have a chance of survival. Hesitating was useless. Ningchen stepped through the stone door and disappeared. After knowing destiny entered the stone door, flames swept out around the stone door, swallowing everything. Not here yet. In the depths of the forbidden area, man was waiting on the spot with extreme boredom, and his gaze frequently looked towards the distance as he waited for the person he missed to appear. It was as if 10,000 mountains were on him, and he directly fell into the blood pool. Ningchen's figure fell into the blood pool. His feet landed on the ground, and he smashed into the bottom of the blood pool like a meteor. The huge impact caused the blood in Ningchen's body to surge. For a moment, there was a sweet taste in his throat, and a trace of blood flowed down silently. What a strange place. Ningchen raised his hand to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth. He looked at the sky above the blood pool, and his expression froze. Even true essence was suppressed here. No wonder Wild was trapped here. Thinking of this, Ningchen glanced at the sword and saber in his hand. Then he took a step forward and charged out like a meteor. Absolute physical strength was incomparably domineering. Ningchen's rising momentum stopped when he was 30,000 feet above the blood pool. It was difficult for him to reach the top. Ningchen's expression didn't decrease in panic. He stabbed the sword in his hand into the wall of the blood pool and stopped his falling momentum. 30,000 feet wasn't far. Ningchen stabbed the sword and saber in his hand into the wall and climbed up bit by bit. Nearly an hour later, Ningchen climbed out of the blood pool. He didn't stop and continued forward. He could feel that Wild wasn't far from him. It was very likely that she was nearby. In the depths of the fiend god forbidden land, Wild, who had been patiently waiting, also felt the aura gradually approaching from the distance. Her expression became more and more expectant. The surrounding world was filled with wind and fire, sealing off all paths of retreat. "Little girl, are you waiting for someone?" At this moment, a heavy voice sounded in the void. Wild's expression shook when she heard this. She looked at the void and asked in puzzlement, "Senior is?" "Xingjiang." The heavy voice sounded again. "The master of this small world." Wild frowned slightly and said with slight dissatisfaction, "Senior, why did you trap me here?" "I didn't trap you. It's this small world that trapped you." Xingjiang sighed. "Senior, you're the master of this small world. Isn't it your will that trapped me here?" Wild asked. "It's not the same." Xingjiang explained, "I've been dead for too long. This small world isn't something I can control." "Then can Senior guide me out?" Wild's face revealed an expectant expression. Xingjiang nodded. "But you have to persuade that young man to stay." Wild immediately shook her head and said, "No, we have to leave together. Without my guidance, neither of you can leave. As long as you persuade him to stay, I'll immediately send you away," Xingjiang said. "If he doesn't leave, I won't leave either." Wild directly refused without any hesitation. "You refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit." Xingjiang snorted coldly and didn't say anything else. His aura disappeared and merged into the void. Chapter 1285. I can let that lady leave, but you have to stay. Ancient god-fiend Xingjiang's voice resounded throughout the chaotic small world. Ningchen stopped and looked up at the sky. A cold light flashed in his eyes that were as deep as the abyss. "Senior, why do you want me to stay?" Ningchen asked. "You don't have to worry about this. I won't kill you. You just need to swear an oath, and I'll send that lady away," Xingjiang said. Ningchen squinted his eyes. After a while, he said, "What if I don't agree?" There had to be something fishy going on. This ancient god-fiend must have an ulterior motive for wanting him to stay. "Do you want that lady to be trapped here forever? Without my guidance, you can never leave this small world," Xingjiang threatened. "Senior, you don't have to worry about whether I can leave or not. Since I can come in, I can find a way to get out." Ningchen replied coldly, and he didn't say anything further before he continued walking forward with large strides. "Stubborn." In the air, Xingjiang was enraged as he growled. The god-fiend was furious. The god-fiend's aura flowed in the chaotic small world, and the laws of heaven and earth changed. Endless power pressed down on knowing destiny. "If you were alive, I might be afraid of you. But you've been dead for tens of thousands of years. What can you use to trap me?" Ningchen snorted. The ghost sword in his hand shone brightly. He waved it and it went against the sky. Boom! The sword went against the world, and the god-fiend was frightened. The sword chi cut through the chaotic small world and slashed toward the sky. The powerful sword left a huge sword mark in the sky. It spread out for tens of thousands of miles. "Damn it!" Xingjiang roared in the sky. The chaotic small world flowed and turned into a huge hand. It was a terrifying superpower. The palm broke the void. It surpassed the heavenly fiend form. It was a real god-fiend superpower. Below, Ningchen's eyes narrowed. He moved his sword and saber. The heavenly song and 6 paths of reincarnation shone brightly. Ultimate technique of heaven and earth, reincarnation boundary. The divine saber and ghost sword moved the world. The 2 extreme powers intertwined and turned into the reincarnation of heaven and earth. They collided with the huge hand in the sky. As the terrifying forces collided, the entire chaotic small world shook violently. The laws shattered, and the celestial and demonic avatars also collapsed. "I told you, you can't do anything to me," Ningchen said coldly as he strode forward. Even gods and demons could not stop him. In the horizon, the rumbling continued for a long time. The ancient god-fiend Xingjiang did not attack again, choosing to wait for a better opportunity. After walking for half a day, a bright light appeared at the end of the chaotic small world. It was like a bright star in the darkness, guiding people forward. Chapter 1286. In the deepest part of the Forbidden Land, Xingjiang trapped knowing destiny in front of the giant heart of the god fiend. The heaven and earth cage was indestructible. Ningchen was trapped and couldn't move. Xingjiang's god fiend aura surged. Even though it was only a trace of divine sense, it was still shockingly powerful. Inside the prison of heaven and earth, Ningchen quietly looked at Xingjiang in the void. His expression did not change much. In front of him, the heart of the god fiend kept beating. A powerful aura flowed and tried to devour knowing destiny. After waiting for tens of thousands of years, Xingjiang finally got the body he wanted. Even an ancient god fiend couldn't keep calm when he was about to be resurrected. So, you're really dead. Ningchen looked at the beating heart of the god fiend in front of him. Sword chi rose around him and the dazzling sword light lit up the small world. The extreme sword caused the heavens and earth to change. Sword chi surged out, causing the entire heaven and earth cage to rumble and tremble. It quickly collapsed. What? Seeing this, Xingjiang's expression changed. God fiend aura surged around him and he tried to stop Ningchen from escaping. I told you that you can't trap me now. Ningchen snorted. His sword chi surged into the sky and his sword intent broke the heaven and earth cage. Knowing destiny was free, he dashed out and slashed with his sword. In the sky, Xingjiang raised his hand and the wind and clouds formed a protective shield in front of him. With a rumble, the ghost sword broke through the wind and clouds. The sword didn't stop and continued forward. As the sword chi approached, the heart of the god fiend beat violently. Xingjiang disappeared and when he reappeared, he was already 10 feet away. The strange scene was hard to understand. Ningchen turned around and looked at the beating heart of the god fiend. His eyes narrowed. Strange. 10 feet away, Xingjiang yelled and dashed out. He slapped down with a powerful aura. When the attack got close, Ningchen waved his sword and slashed at the attacker. As the sword approached, Xingjiang felt a strong sense of danger. His expression changed and he immediately retreated. 20 feet away, Xingjiang stopped. In front of him, the sword slashed open the void. Spatial turbulence swept out and swallowed everything around. Behind him, the heart of the god fiend beat violently again. The wound on Xingjiang's chest healed quickly. As expected. Seeing this, Ningchen understood what was going on. He looked at the heart of the celestial demon behind him and a cold glint flashed across his eyes. Xingjiang's power came from this heart. If he wanted to get rid of Xingjiang, he would have to destroy this god devil's heart first. As this thought flashed through his mind, Ningchen didn't hesitate any longer. His figure flickered, and he swung his sword at the heart of the fiend god behind him. It was an astonishing sword, and its might was even greater than before. Wherever the sword light passed, heaven and earth trembled. Not far away, Xingjiang's expression changed again. He took a step forward and disappeared instantly. In the blink of an eye, Xingjiang appeared in front of the fiend god's heart and punched out to block the ghost sword. Boom! Extreme sword shaking gods and demons. A terrifying vibration resounded. Xingjiang's body flickered and showed signs of collapsing. At this moment, the aura of the fiend god's heart surged, and its power flowed into the former's body. As the power of gods and demons entered his body, Xingjiang's body quickly stabilized and recovered to its original state. Undying body. Ningchen sneered as he took a step forward, and his figure flashed out like a bolt of lightning. Heavenly Song Hank's sharp light streaked across, and cold air spread out, freezing the world. Xingjiang shouted as he crossed his arms, and his fiend god aura spread out, forming a barrier in front of him. The divine blade slashed down, and the fiend god barrier shattered. At the same time, the ghost sword pierced through the air, mercilessly aiming for his life. As the sword pierced through his body, the fiend god aura gushed out. Xingjiang's expression twisted violently. Even though it wasn't a physical body, he still felt bone-piercing pain. With a thump, Xingjiang's body spread out, and the fiend god aura gathered 10 steps away. His eyes were filled with fear of death. Xingjiang's expression was ferocious. He used to be an ancient fiend god, but now he was no longer in control of his own life and death. In front of the fiend god's heart, Ning Chen slashed down with the ghost sword, and a sword light that illuminated the darkness landed on the fiend god's heart. The sword light that cut through the sky rumbled, and an indescribably terrifying aura gushed out from the fiend god's heart, madly resisting the disintegration of its own body. Not far away, Xingjiang's expression changed when he saw this scene. His emotions also went crazy, and he didn't dare to hesitate anymore. He forcefully stopped the human in front of him from continuing to destroy his heart. Space break. Ning Chen swung his sword, cutting through the void and stopping Xingjiang. At the same time, Heavenly Song Hankei slashed down with all his strength, landing on the fiend god's heart once more. The fiend god's heart shook violently, and its aura leaked out, showing signs of collapse. Stop! Xingjiang's heart became more and more terrified. He anxiously said, "I'll let her out. Without my help, you won't be able to leave this place." Hearing this, Ning Chen's heavenly song Hankei paused. He coldly looked at the ancient fiend god and said, "Let her go now." Xingjiang's expression changed. He raised his right hand, and in the small world, the world changed. The flames that had burned for thousands of years gradually faded away. In the depths of the Forbidden Land, Wild, who had been trapped for many days, looked at the path that appeared in front of her. Her beautiful face revealed joy. Had he come? Wild, you leave first. At this moment, Ning Chen's voice echoed in the small world. Wild was startled. She said, "What about you? After you leave, return to the underworld and wait for me. Sister Qing Ning and the others are there. I'll return soon." In the void, Ning Chen's voice sounded again. A man nodded lightly and said, "I know. Be careful." After saying that, Wild didn't ask any more questions and walked towards the end of the path. In the small world, in front of the fiend god's heart, Ning Chen felt Wild's aura gradually fading away. His deep eyes turned cold. "I've already let her go. Can you stop now?" Xingjiang said in a deep voice 10 steps away. "I'm relieved that she left," Ning Chen said indifferently. Ning Chen replied indifferently. Killing intent rose in his eyes as he said coldly, "Now, I can focus on dealing with you." Xingjiang's expression changed. He said in fear, "You didn't keep your word." "Keep my word?" Ning Chen sneered. "When did I promise to let you go? If others don't offend me, I won't offend them. You're courting death, so you can't blame others." After saying that, demonic chi surged around Ning Chen. Layers of sword light rose. He no longer had any scruples and gathered all his power. The incomparably powerful sword aura kept attacking the small world. Ning Chen raised his hand and swung his sword, splitting the sky open. The sword aura was close to the sovereign Tao. The knowing destiny sword had an inviolable aura. Despicable human, go to hell together. Xingjiang was furious. His figure flew out and entered the fiend god's heart. In the next moment, the fiend god's heart beat violently and the entire death planet shook violently. The fiend god's heart self-destructed. Earth fire spewed out from the death planet. The scene of doomsday covered the entire planet. In the starry sky, Wild felt something and stopped. She looked back at the collapsing planet behind her with unconcealable worry in her eyes. "Wild, you leave first. I'll be fine." At this moment, the knowing destiny sword's voice sounded on the planet. Wild nodded obediently and didn't stay any longer. She turned around and left. In the depths of the planet, in the collapsing small world, Ning Chen looked at the fiend god's heart in front of him. With a shout, demonic chi surged out and swallowed the fiend god's heart. The fiend god's aura was chaotic. It was powerful and violent. Blood flowed from the corner of Ning Chen's mouth. He couldn't bear the terrifying fiend god's aura. "Phoenix body, help me." Ning Chen called out to the sleeping phoenix body in his body. In front of a life and death crisis, an earth-shattering phoenix cry sounded. Flames rose in the sky. One side was hot and the other side was cold. The phoenix body walked out from the flames. Half of its hair was red and the other half was black. It was extremely dazzling. "What are you going to do?" the phoenix body asked. "Help the main body revive." Ning Chen said, "This fiend god's heart has enough vitality." As long as the main body devours its power, it will be able to reconstruct its physical body. The phoenix body's eyes flashed. After a while, it nodded and said, "Okay, I'll help you." As soon as it said that, waves of fire swept out around the phoenix body. An incomparably powerful strength erupted and helped the fiend god's heart suppress it. The two bodies joined forces. The main body appeared in the fiend god's aura. Its illusory figure could enter reincarnation at any time. Ha! With a shout, the two bodies joined forces. Demonic chi and phoenix origins surged and forcefully pushed the main body into the fiend god's heart. Just as the two bodies joined forces to help the main body devour the vitality of the fiend god's heart, the Death Star in the outside world gradually collapsed. Flames spread and dust covered the sun. Several days later, a man returned. In King Bien City's palace, Qing Ning sensed it and immediately stood up to welcome her. "Sister Qing Ning." Looking at the woman in front of her, tears flashed in Man's eyes as she called out, "It's good that you're back." Qing Ning softly replied. She stepped forward and patted Man's head. "Have you seen Ning Qin? He told me to come back first." Man couldn't hide the worry on her face. "Don't worry. It won't be that easy for something to happen to him. Moreover, your hearts are connected. Since you're fine, it means he's fine too." Qing Ning smiled. Man nodded and answered easily. "Let's go. Come into the palace with me and tell me what happened these days." Qing Ning grabbed Man's arm and turned to walk towards the palace behind her. With Man's return, the human kings in the other palaces of the underworld were relieved and continued to focus on cultivation. The human race only had 10 years. In these 10 years, they had to reach a higher level. Otherwise, when the two realms fought in the future, it would be difficult for the underworld to survive. In Impermanence Palace, Hong Yuan looked at the two figures walking into King Bien City's palace. A trace of worry flashed through her beautiful eyes. He didn't come back together? Worried? Dawn Moon Tower Master's voice sounded in Impermanence Palace. Hong Yuan came back to her senses and panicked. She shook her head and said, "No. Don't worry." Dawn Moon Tower Master didn't point it out and said, "A fiend god in the knowing destiny state is not a kind person. Nothing will happen to him." This celestial gate that suppressed the body was the most difficult tribulation to deal with. Boom! Above the 9 heavens, the celestial gate slowly descended. In an instant, an indescribable pressure descended, and the entire starry sky shook violently. Under the celestial gate, cracks appeared around the phoenix body. Blood flowed out and dyed its clothes red. In the most terrifying tribulation, the celestial gate suppressed all good and evil. The earth-shattering power was difficult for the phoenix body to withstand. Demon body! The celestial gate could not withstand it. The phoenix body held on for a moment and shouted. In front of the heart of the fiend god, the demon body saw this and flashed into the void. In order to protect the body, the phoenix body and the demon body worked together to resist the strongest heavenly tribulation. Boom! Above the celestial gate, the aura of time flowed, carrying the supreme laws of heaven and earth. From ancient times until now, it had suppressed countless fiend gods in the world. Sword technique. Heavenly sword. The phoenix body worked together, a sword holding up the sky. The sword reflected the stars in the sky. A huge sword light soared into the sky and blocked the celestial gate. Boom! The sword light and the celestial gate collided. Under the pressure of the celestial gate, the sword light collapsed inch by inch. It could not resist for more than a breath and was completely destroyed. The celestial gate was shocking, and it was difficult to resist it. The phoenix body focused, and the sword intent around it was activated again. The supreme forbidden martial technique appeared. 6 Tao fall, myriad demonic tribulations, supreme forbidden sword. The phoenix body worked together, and the supreme forbidden sword defied the heavens. In the starry sky, the sword pressure spread, and endless sword light gathered from all directions. Demonic phoenix heavenly tribulation. In the next moment, a huge sword phoenix appeared in the starry sky. It was pitch black, and the demonic aura was turbulent. The strongest combination to deal with the strongest heavenly tribulation. The sword phoenix soared into the sky and crashed into the celestial gate. Extreme against extreme, the extreme of heaven and earth, the extreme of man. The two strongest forces collided, and the starry sky collapsed. Below, in the starry sky, the aftershock caused the phoenix body's lips to turn red, and they were injured. Boom, boom. The two forces collided again and again. The sword phoenix and the celestial gate clashed unceasingly. After a few breaths of time, an ancient immortal might erupted above the celestial gate. The sword phoenix that defied the heavens was shattered, and it was forcibly dispersed by the celestial gate. The sword phoenix collapsed. Below, the phoenix body and demon body both groaned. Their bodies staggered, and they were seriously injured. Strong, so strong that it was hard to resist. The might of heaven was so strong that it was hard for humans to resist. Do you regret it? In the celestial gate, the reflection of the ancient era appeared. An unparalleled celestial lord stood with his hands behind his back. Just his back view alone caused the entire sky to tremble. I don't regret it. In front of the eastern celestial lord, a beautiful woman in red shook her head and said with difficulty. Hearing the reply, the eastern celestial lord sighed lightly. He waved his right hand, sending the woman in front of him away. The ancient reflection was shocking. In the starry sky, the celestial lord of the eastern celestial realm asked again, "Do you regret it?" The majestic question echoed in the starry sky. It seemed to be asking someone, but it also seemed to be asking himself. I don't regret it. Below, in the heart of the fiend god, a familiar voice answered. In the void, the phoenix body and demon body sensed it. They looked down with a shocked expression. The original body had awakened? How could it be so fast? In the eyes of the two bodies, the heart of the fiend god slowly rose. An incomparably powerful force overflowed, spreading to every corner of the starry sky. Thank you for your hard work. In the heart of the fiend god, the original body's voice sounded. Next, leave this to me. But the original body recovered. The phoenix body, whose injuries had yet to fully recover, replied. Its figure dissipated and returned to the demon body. I need some time to pass the celestial gate calamity. I will have to trouble you for the matters of the mortal world. In the starry sky, the original body's voice echoed. I understand. Not far away, the demon body nodded and said indifferently, Don't worry. Before you return, I will do my best to help you protect this mortal world. Thank you. The original body replied. I can't help you here. I will leave first. The demon body looked at the huge celestial gate in the void and said calmly. Then he turned and left. Demon body, you are more like a human now. Behind him, the original body's voice sounded. Hearing this, the demon body paused slightly and said indifferently, I hope you can be more like a demon. After that, the demon body didn't say anything else and continued to walk forward. After the demon body left, in the starry sky, the pressure of the celestial gate became more and more shocking. It slowly fell and suppressed all the laws of heaven and earth. In the heart of the fiend god, the original body's power continued to rise. His peerless foundation erupted all at once. Above the 9 heavens, thunderbolts fell one after another. However, before they could reach the heart of the fiend god, they were scattered by the power of the original body of the knowing destiny state. The strongest heavenly calamity since ancient times and the person with the best foundation of martial arts in the mortal world. The two forces collided head-on.